What's up guys, this is your favorite fanfic YouTuber, the Fanfic Majesty, and welcome to another amazing video. You can follow me on Patreon for exclusive stories. Hunter Exam 8 Inner Gates. 1 He. Chapter 113 years old, the full level of Bamen Dunjia open black lens bracket seeking flower evaluation close black lens bracket. New book, begging for support from everyone's flower evaluation votes. Whale Island. Deep in the forest, a handsome boy in short sleeves was running non-stop along the rugged path. At this moment, his forehead was covered with sweat. Because sandbags weighing 25 kilograms were tied to both feet. That's right, this is the standard for Lan Fei's physical training. He has to run non-stop on this rugged path every day, rain or shine, for 3 years. 3 years ago, Lan Fei traveled to this world and became an orphan adopted by Mito Aunt, and gradually integrated into the life on Shark Island. 3 years passed, and Lan Fei turned 13 this year. Lan Fei took a deep breath. After 3 years of devilish physical training, even with sandbags weighing 25 kilograms tied to each of his feet, he can now walk like flying. Even if I can't practice Nen, I can reach the peak with physical skills. In the past 3 years of hard training, I have been able to open the 8 doors of Dunjia to the shocking level, and I am only short of the last door of death to reach the full level. Lan Fei thought to himself, and stopped slowly. I just don't know if this dead door is opened, will I be as exhausted as Emperor Kai? Ding. Just when Lan Fei was worried, the intelligent voice of the system came to Lan Fei's mind again after 3 years. Host, the 3-year period has expired. Since you have opened the 8 gates of Dunjia to the shocking gate, the final dead gate system will be presented to you. Moreover, once the gate of death is opened, it won't have any side effects on you. It's just that there is a time limit for fully opening the 8 gates. Smart voice reminded. Damn it, after 3 years of silence, you're finally bubbling. Hearing the system's voice, Lan Fei couldn't help cursing, and then couldn't help but continued excitedly. It means that my Bamen Dunjia is at the full level now. And, if the Bamen Dunjia is fully opened, won't it run out of fuel? Okay, your 8 Door Dunjia has reached its full level, and it will not cause any side effects to the body. The only shortcoming is that there will be a time limit for fully opening the 8 doors. Smart voice replied. Time limit? How long? Lan Fei frowned. Isn't this still flawed? If you can't kill the enemy within the limited time, wouldn't you be belching yourself? Host, once all the 8 gates are opened, they can only last for 10 minutes. Moreover, it can only be turned on again after half an hour. Smart voice reminded. This is a bit cheating. It only takes 10 minutes to open all the 8 doors of Dunjia. Can it be turned on again after an interval of half an hour? Lan Fei was a little speechless. The enemy can't be seen in 10 minutes, so I can only run for my life. After half an hour of running for my life, can I rise up again? Isn't this aggrieved? However, it's right to think about it. After all, the power of opening all the 8 gates is too terrifying. This is the high burst damage that Emperor Kai almost kicked out of the finale. If he can maintain the state of opening the gate of death without limit, he will be almost invincible. Host, since you are unable to cultivate Nen, the system will give you an ultimate reward. The intelligent voice reminded again. The ultimate reward. Lan Fei was taken aback. It was the first time in 3 years, and there are still such benefits. Well, do you want to turn it on? The ultimate reward is random, and it may be a pet, such as a Digimon. Of course, it may also be physical, such as writing sharing eyes, reincarnation eyes, white eyes, and even Saiyan blood. There may also be powerful weapons, such as natural teeth, Yan Mo. It may also be a devil fruit. Smart voice explained. So powerful, let's open it as soon as possible. Hearing these random rewards, Lan Fei couldn't hold back the excitement in his heart. Ding. The command from the host is detected, and the ultimate reward will be opened after 10 seconds. Ding. 10 seconds later. Congratulations to the host, you got the sparkling fruit. Smart voice reminded. Glittering fruit. Lan Fei stared. I am obedient. This is the ultimate devil fruit, and Lan Fei, the shining fruit, knows that this is a devil fruit with both speed and strength. The ultimate speed of the speed of light, who in this world is faster than himself. Of course, it's not that fast, it's fast. Moreover, the attack power of the sparkling fruit is also terrifying. As a time traveler, Lan Fei has also watched One Piece, and he is well aware of the pretend scene of the release of the Water Emperor Huang Yuan, a monster with 1 bite, and a supernova with 1 kick. Now that I have obtained the shiny fruit, can I also kick a monster? Ong. Suddenly, at this moment, a dazzling golden light condensed in front of Lan Fei, and then a devil fruit surrounded by golden halo emerged. Host, please keep the shiny fruit. The intelligent voice reminded in Lan Fei's mind. Is this the sparkling fruit? Lan Fei held the devil fruit in front of him carefully, feeling extremely excited inside. Put away the hammer, I'll eat it right now. Without the slightest hesitation, Lan Fei brought the shiny fruit he was holding to his mouth, and began to bite into it. Devil fruit is really unpalatable, bitter, astringent, and a bit salty. It smells like sewer. Lan Fei only felt a nausea, but for the power of shining fruit, he had to bite the bullet and swallow it down. After a while, Lan Fei ate the whole shiny fruit. Ong. In an instant, a golden light burst out from Lan Fei's eyes, and he only felt that his whole body was filled with extreme power, as if a sun was wrapped in his body, which was both warm and hot. I accept the ability of the sparkling fruit. Lan Fei grinned, then raised his hand, lightly piercing the void with his fingertips. Call out. In an instant, a blinding golden light burst out at an incomparable speed, and the air roared, and the boulder not far away was directly penetrated by the golden light, and then exploded. Tisk tisk, this power is simply bursting. Lan Fei smacked his lips. By the way, if I eat a devil fruit, will I become a landlubber? Lan Fei asked. Host, this setting does not apply to this world, you can rest assured. If you become a devil fruit, you can swim freely in the sea. Smart voice explained. Then I can rest assured, with my current strength, I can complete the hunter assessment with ease. It's time to complete the agreement with Mito Aunt. Lan Fei looked up at the sky, and only when he stood at the highest peak could he overlook the whole world. Chapter 2 The Agreement with Mito Aunt, Catching Kingfish with Bare Hands Open Black Lens Bracket Seeking Flower Evaluation Close Black Lens Bracket. 3 years ago, Lan Fei and Gon made an agreement with Mito Aunt that if they want to leave Whale Island to participate in the hunter assessment, they must catch kingfish. Of course, the method of catching kingfish can be determined by oneself. You can fish, you can go to the sea to catch, you can use traps. As long as you catch it, you can participate in the hunter assessment. For the residents living on Whale Island, the kingfish is like a monster. Its size is beyond imagination, and it has incredible power, which is really impossible for ordinary people to catch. This is why Mito Aunt made such an agreement with Gon and Lan Fei. After all, only Gon's father, HxH, has ever caught a kingfish. Moreover, when he caught the kingfish, he was only 12 years old. Today, HxH has become one of the world's top 5 Nen players, and one of the 5 strongest people in the world today, excluding the Dark Continent. Therefore, HxH has always been a role model in Gon's eyes, and he also wants to follow in the footsteps of HxH, try the difficulty of the hunter assessment, and also want to be an excellent hunter. At this time, the coast of Whale Island was crowded with people. Fishing boats returning with full loads or berthing at the shore. A wide variety of fishing products were also unloaded in an orderly manner, and then after selection, they were repacked into wooden boxes filled with crushed ice. Gon went fishing for kingfish again today. This little guy still refuses to give up. An ant wearing a headscarf who was packing the boxes looked at Mito, who was busy in front of her, with a wry smile on her face. Yeah, he's been doing it for a week. Mito Aunt shook his head helplessly. Who told you to make this agreement with him? This little guy is really an idiot. How could he catch a kingfish that even 5 of us big men couldn't catch? An uncle with a full beard also interrupted. By the way, where is the little guy Lan Fei? For the past 3 years, he has also been doing physical training with all his might, in order to participate in the hunter assessment. Yeah, this little guy's perseverance is no worse than Gon's. In terms of fighting for his life, everyone on Whale Island can't beat him. In the past 3 years, he has insisted on running 5 kilometers every day with sandbags tied, rain or shine, and now at the age of 13, he seems to have physical strength beyond that of adults. If you want to blame it, you can blame Mito. I made such an agreement with these 2 little guys. One fishes every day and the other runs every day. The perseverance is extraordinary. So far, only Xiaojun's father can catch kingfish, right? And it was 20 years ago. Is Gon going to challenge his father? Gon is okay. Maybe there is still a glimmer of hope to catch the kingfish, but Lan Fei, I don't know what method he will use. Yeah, this kid runs every day to exercise his physical fitness. I really don't know how he can catch the kingfish and fulfill the agreement with Mito. At this time, everyone who was packing the boxes also spoke up. After all, the neighbors will take extra care and love for outstanding teenagers like Lan Fei and Gon. Look, the little guy Lan Fei is back. After a while, someone saw Lan Fei running towards this side. His 13-year-old figure was pulled down very long by the scorching sun, giving him a rather mysterious feeling. Mito Aunt. Lan Fei saw Mito who was busy all the way, and waved his hands excitedly. Look at you, you still insist on running in such a big sun, can your little body handle it? Seeing Lan Fei running towards him with sweat profusely, Mito pretended to be very angry and couldn't help but glared at Lan Fei. Mito Aunt, my body is strong. Lan Fei came to Mito's side and lifted up his short sleeves, revealing his strong and muscular biceps. Looking at Lan Fei's tanned skin, Mito felt distressed, and quickly took out a handkerchief to wipe the sweat off Lan Fei's forehead. In Mito's heart, Lan Fei is even more important than Gon, because Lan Fei is an orphan, and Gon at least has a powerful father. By the way, Mito Aunt, does the previous agreement still count? Lan Fei stared at Mito with a grin. Of course it counts. You and Gon, as long as you can catch the kingfish, I will let you take part in the hunter assessment. Mito nodded, patted Lan Fei's head, and continued, in order to catch the kingfish, Gon fished every day. It's been a week and I haven't even seen the kingfish. What about you, Lan Fei? Gon can also go fishing, how do you catch kingfish? Yeah Lan Fei, this is a kingfish, it's as huge as a monster, Gon may still have some hope, what do you want to do? In the past 20 years, only Gon's father has been able to catch kingfish. If you and Gon can catch it, you should have the opportunity to pass several rounds in the hunter assessment. The bearded uncle laughed cheerfully. Hee, Mito Aunt, I want to go into the sea to catch kingfish with bare hands. This is much simpler and more crude than Gon's method. Lan Fei said with a grin. Go into the sea to catch kingfish with bare hands. Lan Fei, are you crazy? It's too dangerous, I don't agree. Mito Aunt glared at Lan Fei directly. You know, the power of the kingfish is terrifying, how can Lan Fei, a 13-year-old child, fight it with bare hands? Gon may still have a glimmer of hope by fishing, but Lan Fei goes into the sea to catch it with his bare hands. That's simply not possible. Even Gon's father caught kingfish by fishing 20 years ago. So far, no one on Whale Island has caught kingfish with bare hands. Once dragged into the deep sea by the kingfish, the outcome can be imagined. Mito will not let Lan Fei take the risk. Mito Aunt, for the hunter's assessment, I have caught the kingfish. Lan Fei grinned. Now he has reached the full level of Bamen Dunjia, and has eaten the shiny fruit, and the ability of the devil fruit is not limited by the sea water, so it is not difficult at all to catch a kingfish. Bang! At this time, Lan Fei slowly squatted down, untied the sandbags tied to his feet, and threw them on the ground. Crack! This scene really shocked Mito and others. Chapter 3 The perverted two brothers open black lens bracket seeking flower evaluation close black lens bracket. A sandbag that can crack the ground and create a big pit. What is this concept? Lan Fei, this sandbag. Mito opened his mouth and stared at Lan Fei in shock. Lan Fei, how heavy is this sandbag? The stubble-faced uncle also felt incredible. One of my two sandbags weighs 25 kilograms, and the two together weigh 100 kilograms. Lan Fei said with a grin. 100 catties. Mito glanced at Lan Fei, this 13-year-old orphan. In order to exercise his physical fitness, he was so harsh on himself. It weighs 100 catties, let alone a 13-year-old boy. Even an adult might not be able to bear it, right? Moreover, Lan Fei is strapped with a sandbag that weighs 100 jins, and insists on running 5 kilometers every day for 3 years, rain or shine. What kind of perseverance does this require? More importantly, Lan Fei was only 10 years old 3 years ago. Bearing 100 catties at the age of 10. Mito felt more and more that he underestimated Lan Fei. This little guy became so tough in order to become stronger. Thinking of this, Mito couldn't help feeling distressed. After all, Lan Fei was brought up by her alone. Although she is an orphan, she is better than her own. Bearing 100 catties. Lan Fei, you little guy is crazy, aren't you? Is it worth it for the hunter assessment? The stubble-faced uncle stared at Lan Fei with wide eyes, as if looking at a monster. Worth. Only by becoming a hunter can I have the opportunity to stand on the top of this world. I also hope that one day I can challenge Gon's father. Lan Fei took a deep breath, his gaze was extremely firm, with faint traces of golden light shining through. Lan Fei, good job. Lan Fei, since you have a goal, go for it bravely. Lan Fei, I really saw you right, kid. Lan Fei, if you want to become a hunter, you have to pass your Mito Aunt first. Immediately, everyone gave Lan Fei admiring glances. At only 13 years old, he has such a lofty goal. He has worked hard to achieve this goal. This persistence is really admirable. Mito Aunt, don't forget the agreement between us. Lan Fei grinned and winked at Mito. Lan Fei, do you want to? Mito gritted his teeth. Mito Aunt, I will catch the kingfish with my own hands. Lan Fei smiled and said, turned around and jumped directly from the shore into the sea. Lan Fei, Mito shouted anxiously towards the sea. However, only the raging waves and the tangy sea breeze responded to her, and Lan Fei's figure had long been submerged by the turbulent sea. At the same time, on a giant tree not far from the coast. Gon sat cross-legged, his head covered with a visor woven from leaves of a giant tree, and he was engrossed in staring at the fishhook thrown from his hand. It has to be said that compared with 13-year-old Lan Fei, the 12-year-old Gon is less mature and steady, and more childish. After all, the cultivation methods of the two are completely different. Gon prefers a free and unrestrained approach, with a childlike innocence, while Lan Fei likes to squeeze himself and push out his own potential. Today, Lan Fei's physical strength is much stronger than Gon's, and his physique is also much stronger than Gon's. Okay. Suddenly, Gon's eyes lit up, the fishing rod in his hand trembled suddenly, and the buoy floating on the sea sank rapidly. Apparently, a fish took the bait. Coming. Such a large force should be a big deal. Gon stood up quickly, stretched his arms, and suddenly pulled up the fishing rod. In an instant, a huge sea fish popped out of its head. Is it really a kingfish? Finally, I finally caught it. Gon was so excited that he jumped up and wrapped the fishing line around the giant tree. Then he turned over and pulled the kingfish out of the sea with the force of his fall. Ha ha ha, Mito Aunt, I finally caught it. I can finally take the hunter assessment. Gon exerted force again with his arm, and slammed the pulled kingfish back. The huge figure of the kingfish forced a struggling arc in the sunlight. Lan Fei, I should have won this time, right? I caught the kingfish one step ahead of you. Full of confidence, Gon dragged the kingfish towards the shore. Mito Aunt. Soon, Gon saw Mito who was busy on the shore, and waved and shouted from afar. Gon. Mito's beautiful eyes narrowed slightly, and then revealed an expression of disbelief. Wow, look, what a big kingfish. Gon, this little guy, actually caught it. Kingfish, after 20 years, someone finally caught it again. Tisk tisk. These two brothers are not simple. Yeah, Lan Fei's perverted workout, Gon's freestyle workout, these two guys are really noisy. Unexpectedly, it was Gon who caught the kingfish first. That's right, Gon has inherited his father's strong lineage. He caught the kingfish in the same way at the same age. It's really extraordinary. Everyone was surprised to see Gon dragging the kingfish towards this side. Is it really a kingfish? Gon he actually did it. Mito took a deep breath and clenched his hands tightly, feeling unspeakable anxiety and excitement in his heart. Mito Aunt, I caught the kingfish, don't forget our agreement. Panting, Gon dragged the kingfish to Mito, and then showed an innocent smile. Gon, you let Mito Aunt say anything good about you. Mito shook his head with a wry smile. I do not care. That's what you said, as long as I catch the kingfish, I can go to the hunter assessment. Gon pouted. Boom. Suddenly, while everyone was surrounding the kingfish and feeling happy for Gon, a vibration came from the deep sea 100 meters away from the coast. Everyone heard the sound and looked for it, only to see a huge vortex rolled up on the sea surface, and there were green and golden rays of light intertwined in the vortex. Immediately afterwards, a huge kingfish jumped out of the vortex. The size of this kingfish was several times larger than the one caught by Gon, and it seemed to weigh 1,000 catties. As expected of a giant monster in the deep sea, the power of this kingfish is so terrifying that it forced me to open the door of life among the 8 armors. That's right. In the sea, human beings are restricted. Whether it is speed or strength, they are suppressed by the sea water a lot. If you don't practice Bamen Dunjia, it will be difficult to catch the kingfish. At this time, Lan Fei's figure also jumped out of the vortex, the green air flow wrapped his whole body, and then he punched the kingfish hard on the head, killing it completely. Chapter 4 Departure. Participate in the Hunter Assessment. Open black lens bracket. Seeking flower evaluation. Close black lens bracket. Look, what a big kingfish. This kingfish is bigger than the one Gon caught, and it weighs 1,000 catties. No wonder it caused such a big shock. The strength of the giant kingfish can be imagined. Huh, look, someone jumped out of the vortex. This person, Lan Fei. It turned out to be Lan Fei. Could it be that this kingfish was driven out of the deep sea by Lan Fei? Did you see that there is a green light on Lan Fei? What's going on here? This little guy dived into the deep sea and caught the kingfish. How did he do that? In the sea, the kingfish has abnormal speed and strength. Yeah, human beings are no match for a giant kingfish in the sea, let alone Lan Fei, who is only 13 years old. Isn't this little guy too perverted? How did he do it? Why is there a green light on his body? Look, he dragged a huge kingfish to the shore. Immediately, everyone on the coast became incoherent, and everyone's eyes were focused on Lan Fei, completely forgetting about the kingfish that Gon caught. Gon's catching kingfish has surpassed their imagination. After all, only Gon's father can do it in the past 20 years. Now it is even more frightening to see Lan Fei catching a heavy kingfish in the deep sea with his bare hands. The one who can catch kingfish with bare hands in the deep sea, so far, only Lan Fei can do it in Fangyan Whale Island. Most importantly, Lan Fei is only a 13-year-old boy. How did he do it? This guy. Gon frowned when he saw Lan Fei dragging a huge kingfish swimming towards the shore. Originally, Gon thought that he should be able to overwhelm Lan Fei. After all, he caught the kingfish first, but now it seems that there is no comparison between himself and Lan Fei. You know, catching kingfish with bare hands in the deep sea, even my own father can't do it. It's quite difficult, and it's extremely dangerous. If you are not careful, you will be buried in the sea. Catching kingfish with bare hands in the deep sea, with this strength, it may be difficult to find a second one in the same age. His strength is much stronger than mine. Gon gritted his teeth. Lan Fei, you actually caught the kingfish with your bare hands. How did this little guy do it? Mito's beautiful eyes widened, and his heart was quite moved. What is it today? It doesn't matter if Gon caught the kingfish, but now even Lan Fei has caught the kingfish with his bare hands, so these two brothers want to be hunters. Mito Aunt, Lan Fei has also completed the agreement with you. At this time, Gon reminded in a low voice. Now kingfish are so easy to catch. Hey, if I knew it earlier, I wouldn't have made an agreement with you. Mito sighed helplessly. She really didn't want Lan Fei and Gon to leave Whale Island. After all, they were both brought up by themselves, so it's better not to be born than to be born. Moreover, Mito is also worried about the safety of the two of them. After all, Hunter's assessment is quite difficult, and he may die if he is not careful. Mito, I think you should let these two little guys take the Hunter assessment. For this goal, they have worked hard until now. Behind him, the bearded uncle glanced at Mito. Since the agreement is completed, I will naturally not stop it. Mito nodded. Mito Aunt, I caught a kingfish. Soon, Lan Fei dragged the huge kingfish ashore, shook off the moisture on his clothes, and looked at Mito with a smile. Tisk tisk. This is the first time I've seen a kingfish that weighs 1,000 pounds. Lan Fei, great job. Lan Fei, how did you do it with such small arms and legs? If you sell a kingfish that weighs 1,000 catties, it will be enough for Mito Aunt to feed you for a year. Everyone took a deep look at Lan Fei, and then looked curiously at the giant kingfish, which weighed 1,000 catties. Hey, Gon, have you caught kingfish too? At this time, Lan Fei noticed the kingfish behind Gon and looked it up a little. The kingfish caught by Gon was estimated to weigh 300 to 400 catties. Although I caught the kingfish before you, there is no comparison with your kingfish at all. Lan Fei, great job. In this way, we can go to sea together and participate in the hunter assessment together. Gon smiled, and directly punched Lan Fei lightly on the chest, expressing his cousin's affection. Well, we have all completed our agreement with Mito Aunt, and we can finally go to sea and participate in the hunter assessment. Gon, let's go. Let's go back and pack our bags. Lan Fei nodded, turned around and walked towards the house. Okay, pack your bags and go. Gon chased after Lan Fei with a full face of excitement. These two little guys. Mito sighed and followed Gon leisurely. By the way, these two kingfishes are handed over to you. Before leaving, Mito did not forget to wave his hand to the bearded uncle beside him. Inside the cabin, Lan Fei and Gon were packing their clothes into packages. Mito watched silently from the side without saying a word. Gon, don't bring too many clothes, we're going light this time. Lan Fei reminded. Well, I'll just pack 2 sets of clothes. After tidying up his clothes, Gon directly carried his small package on his back. In addition to packing the clothes, Lan Fei also packed some snacks into the package, most of which are Gon's favorites. Mito Aunt, we are leaving. After getting everything ready, Lan Fei turned around and looked at Mito with a smile. For some reason, Mito's heart trembled, and the sockets of his eyes turned red. For the departure of these 2 little guys, Mito is very sad, but helpless. Because, Lan Fei and Gon have grown up and have their own paths to forge. Since they both like to be hunters, let's go forward bravely towards their goals. Be careful on the road. Lan Fei, Gon is 1 year younger than you big brother, you must protect Gon. Mito wiped the mist from the corners of his eyes, and quickly hugged Lan Fei into his arms. Mito Aunt, I will definitely pass the exam, and I will definitely become an excellent hunter. Yes, Mito Aunt, when we pass the exam, I will definitely tell you the good news as soon as possible. Gon on the side also blinked. Both of you, be well. Mito Aunt's heart trembled, and he also pulled Gon, pulling him into his arms deeply. Understood, Mito Aunt, let's go. Lan Fei gently pushed Mito's embrace away, turned around and ran out of the house without looking back. Lan Fei, wait for me. Gon also pushed away Mito's embrace, turned around and waved at Mito Aunt, goodbye. Chapter 5 Dismissal. Kid, are you going to teach me a lesson? Open black lens bracket. Seek evaluation of flowers. Close black lens bracket. Not long after, Lan Fei and Gon boarded the sailboat bound for the port where the hunter review will take place. On the shore where the sailboat is moored, there are many residents of Whale Island, including children, old people, and strong uncles. They are the faces Lan Fei is most familiar with. These people came to see Lan Fei and Gon off. After all, since Gon's father, HxH, left Whale Island to become one of the top 5 Nen fighters in the world, one of the 5 strongest people in the world today, Whale Island has never had such an excellent hunter like HxH in the past 20 years. 20 years later, Lan Fei and Gon embarked on the road of chasing hunters' footsteps again. Seeing them was like seeing HxH back then, so the residents of Whale Island naturally wanted to see them off. Lan Fei, come on. Lan Fei, you must become an excellent hunter. Lan Fei, take good care of Gon. Gon, you have to work hard too. Gon, you must surpass your father and be an excellent hunter. Gon, if you meet your father outside, remember to take us to say hello and say we miss him. Many residents of Whale Island waved goodbye to Lan Fei and Gon. Thank you, I will definitely become the world's #1 hunter. Lan Fei stood on the deck and waved to everyone. I will definitely surpass HxH. I will definitely come back when I become hunter. Gon also waved excitedly. Ha ha ha, the #1 hunter in the world. Just rely on you brat. At this time, there was a sneer of yin and yang on the deck, and on the spacious deck, a dozen or so people who participated in the hunter assessment were sitting cross-legged. Among these people, there are those who hold big knives, there are also vicious people with scars on their faces, and there are people who look gentle on the outside but are extremely evil on the inside. You two brats underestimate hunter, don't you? This is the hunter assessment. Every year, millions of masters gather from all over the world, but very few of you can pass the assessment in the end. Like you little ghost, there is no hope at all, so don't just talk nonsense. I advise you to disembark early, otherwise, you will die. A man with a knife scar on his left eye laughed loudly. Gon, don't pay attention to them, they are just a bunch of guys who are strong on the outside. Lan Fei glanced at the dozen or so people gathered on the deck, and finally fell on Kurapika and Lirio. On this ship, there are only these 2 people that Lan Fei can look at seriously, and these 2 people will become Gon's lifelong partners in the future. Of course, Lan Fei doesn't want to have too many partners, having a younger brother like Gon is enough for him to have a headache, he doesn't want to join the team of Gon and others. It is best to be alone, which is more conducive to Lan Fei's future challenges and actions. Hey, brat, don't be so self-righteous. Hearing Lan Fei's cold rebuke, the man with the scar on his left eye stood up instantly. Scar, don't be as knowledgeable as these 2 brats. It's not yet at the review venue. A middle-aged man with a big knife reminded. Little devil, I don't want to kill people, so get out. The man with the scar on his left eye shouted coldly. Okay. Seeing this, Lan Fei frowned. He didn't want to cause trouble at first, but when he got on the boat, he was kicked out by others. Can this be tolerated? Lan Fei, ignore him. At this time, Gon quickly grabbed Lan Fei's clothes. Gon, after leaving Whale Island, we must speak with strength. Otherwise, some people will push forward. Lan Fei said with a smile. What, you little brat want to teach me a lesson? Ha ha ha, it's ridiculous. The man with the scar on his left eye twisted his neck, and the sound of muscles and bones screaming became louder and louder. Uncle, don't think that having a scar is a big deal. I don't take this set. Lan Fei grinned, his figure suddenly turned into a golden light, and appeared in front of the scarred man in the blink of an eye. Boom. Lan Fei raised his foot, kicked at the speed of light, and ruthlessly swept the scarred man. Boom. The man with the scar stared wide-eyed. He didn't have time to react, and the figure flew out at a terrifying speed, over the high guardrail, and crashed into the vast deep sea in an instant, disappearing without a trace. Overreach. Lan Fei was full of disdain. These people in front of them are vicious people at best, and they can scare ordinary people at ordinary times. They haven't cultivated anything nen at all, so naturally they can't be called masters. Generally, true nen masters are very quiet, they will not easily fight with each other, and they will not be as knowledgeable as others, but these people will only bully the small with a shout of a kid. Scar. Seeing the man with the scar was kicked into the deep sea by Lan Fei, the middle-aged man with the big knife couldn't help being startled, and his eyes became terrified when he looked at Lan Fei. Gone. Let's find a seat too. Lan Fei ignored everyone's shocked gazes, and walked towards the empty seat beside Kurapika step by step. This guy. Gon patted his forehead and had no choice but to follow behind Lan Fei. What a terrifying speed. This guy, has he already cultivated nen? Seeing Lan Fei walking towards her, Kurapika's face was calm, but there was a storm in his heart. After all, the speed displayed by Lan Fei is too terrifying, just like teleportation, only those who have practiced nen can do it, right? Good guy. Is it really just a kid of 12 or 13 years old? Lirio, who was wearing glasses, was also shocked by the speed displayed by Lan Fei. Call. Suddenly, just as Lan Fei was sitting on the deck, a strong sea wind blew in, and the whole ship instantly tilted. The storm is coming. Before Gon could get hot from sitting, he immediately smelled the salty smell of the violently surging sea water. He jumped up and climbed directly to the top of the sail. Chapter 6 Captain's Power, Elimination and Promotion. Open black lens bracket. Seeking flower evaluation. Close black lens bracket. Storm. At this time, the captain who was at the helm slowly stepped onto the deck. With a cigarette holder in his mouth, he raised his head and glanced at Gon standing on the top of the sail, his eyes narrowed involuntarily. It's really like it. It's almost printed from the same mold. The captain thought to himself. On Gon, he vaguely saw the shadow of Jin Freezy SS. Storm. Lan Fei nodded, not doubting Gon's words at all. Because, Gon has a certain talent in weather forecasting, even Lan Fei can't beat it. How can there be a storm when everything is fine? Lirio lifted his glasses frame and looked up at the boundless sky with great interest. The wind has changed. Kurapika on the side also raised his head, and the originally clear sky began to be filled with dark clouds. Rumble. Crackling. After a while, the temperature changed suddenly, and thunder and lightning began to intertwine under the black clouds, and the sound of thunder swept across the sea area. Everyone hide in the cabin. A storm is coming. The captain standing on the deck shouted sharply. Storm. Isn't it too memorized today? I encountered a storm when I participated in the hunter assessment. The storm is coming. The ship will not sink, will it? Don't even arrive at the review venue, we will be buried in the deep sea. Immediately, everyone sitting on the deck got up and walked towards the cabin, everyone's face was full of worry. After all, this storm came too suddenly. Clatter. Crackle. Along with the interweaving of thunder and lightning, the waves began to roll, and the hurricane began to brew. The whole ship had been involved in the violent storm, just like a flat boat, which might be overturned by the hurricane waves at any time. You two, why don't you go to the helm soon? Forget it, I'll do it myself. I'm afraid you won't be able to control this kind of scene, and you might capsize the ship. Feeling that the whole ship was crumbling, the captain took a deep breath of smoke before turning around and walking towards the rudder. What? Suddenly, a scream came from the deck, and a crew intern was blown away by the strong wind and waves. If he hadn't reacted quickly and grabbed the railing of the bow, he might have been sucked into the endless waves of the deep sea. Not good. Save people. On the deck, there are 4 people left at the moment: Lan Fei, Gon, Lirio, and Kurapika. Lirio was the first to rush towards the intern, but because the ship was too rough and the hurricane was blowing, he was a little unstable and couldn't reach the intern in front of him at all. Hold it. Just when Lan Fei was about to make a move, the fishing rod on Gon's back swung instantly, and the long fishing line directly tied the intern, and he fell backwards, pulling the intern into the cabin with all his strength. Let me help you. Seeing this, Kurapika reached out and grabbed the fishing rod in Gon's hand, and the two of them worked together to drag the intern back from the hurricane. Gon, well done. Lan Fei gave Gon a thumbs up. Are you okay? You'd better hide in the cabin as soon as possible. It's too dangerous here. Lan Fei, let's hide in the cabin too. Whether we can survive this crisis depends on the captain's strength. Gon glanced at the intern who was rescued by them, and then glared at Lan Fei before turning around and entering the cabin. Thanks. The intern was a little scared, but the fear on his face still persisted. Fortunately, I'm used to this kind of storm on Whale Island, otherwise, I'm afraid I'd be knocked unconscious by the boat. Lan Fei thought to himself, and followed behind Gon. Passing through the small rooms in the cabin, Lan Fei found that the fierce-looking people who were sitting on the deck before all fainted at the moment, and some even fell into a coma directly. This one. Lan Fei shook his head with a wry smile. This ability also to participate in the hunter assessment. You know, the hunter assessment is much more dangerous than this sea storm. With such a degree of turbulence, there are various kinds of dizziness and coma. How can you participate in the hunter assessment? I'm afraid I won't even be able to make it to the review venue. Too weak. Gon also shook his head. Before, all these people were very fierce, but now they were so dizzy that they became as strong as Lan Fei said. Lan Fei, should we give them some herbal medicine for seasickness? Gon looked at Lan Fei. No, I can't die from this fainting. Also let them recognize their own strength. Not everyone can participate in the hunter assessment. Lan Fei shook his head. The residents of Whale Island all live by the sea. What storm scenes haven't Lan Fei and Gon seen growing up? And I have also been out to sea with Mito Aunt, and I have also encountered such a strong storm on board, so I can naturally bear it. On the contrary, Lirio and Kurapika were somewhat beyond Lan Fei's expectations. The concentration and strength of these two people are not comparable to this group of people. Although they are not as strong as themselves, they are not weak. At least physical fitness can keep up. Half an hour later. The storm finally passed, and thanks to the skillful skill of the captain, the ship survived the crisis unharmed. Bang bang bang. Outside the room of the four of them, there was a knock on the door, and the captain slowly opened the door and walked in. Luckily, we're all still alive. Next, I have some good news to tell you. At present, except for the four of you, everyone else has been reported to the review committee for elimination. With a storm of this level, you will lose your ability to move. I don't think it will be possible to pass the subsequent hunter assessment. In a word, the assessment has already begun the moment you board the ship. Although I am not an examiner, I have the right to eliminate any of you before arriving at the assessment venue. After all, the review committee hired me and gave me such power. As long as you don't meet the standards I want, I will filter all of you who participated in the review first. The captain had a pipe in his mouth and looked at Lan Fei and the others while puffing out the smoke. Are we advanced? Is it so casual? Lan Fei was startled. Right. The first round of filtering depends on my mood. It just so happens that in the face of the crisis of this storm, you have performed very well, unlike those who are strong outside but do nothing. The captain smiled and nodded. Chapter 7 Nen, Phantom Troupe Open Black Lens Bracket Flower Evaluation Close Black Lens Bracket. It all depends on your mood. Hearing the captain's words, Lirio's face changed slightly. In this way, doesn't the captain of this ship have all the authority before arriving at the review venue? Isn't this too casual? Kurapika was also surprised. The captain is not an examiner, so he has such great power. Of course, Kurapika doesn't know that there are as many as 1 million people who come to participate in the hunter assessment every year, and the number of examiners is limited, so only a few people can be hired to complete the first round of screening. After all, not everyone who participated in the hunter assessment is an elite, and they are all capable. Some people are here to play a cutscene and learn a lot, just like the people on the boat before, who couldn't bear the turbulence of a storm now. Do you still want to be a professional hunter? Why do you four want to be hunters? At this moment, the captain glanced at Lan Fei and the others, and continued thoughtfully, forget it, I'll ask them one by one. What's your name? Why do you want to be a hunter? The captain's eyes fell on Lan Fei. Can I refuse to answer? Lan Fei grinned. Can. However, in this case, you will be eliminated. On this ship, I have the final say. Of course, you can also kill me. In this case, all four of you will be eliminated. So, please answer my question obediently. The captain had a pipe in his mouth, puffed out lightly, and stared at Lan Fei with a half smile. This old guy. Lan Fei felt helpless. If he was eliminated now, he would have no face to go back to meet Mito Aunt. He then took a deep breath, stared at the captain and said word by word, my name is Lan Fei, and I want to become the strongest hunter in the world. Oh, I have a lot of ambition. The captain nodded, not paying attention. He didn't take Lan Fei's words seriously at all. Because Lan Fei is too young, and his goal is too ambitious, whether he can pass the hunter assessment is still a question, and he still wants to become the strongest hunter in the world. My name is Gon. My dad is Hunter. I really wanted to know what kind of job hunter was that fascinated my dad, so I left Whale Island and took the hunter assessment. At this time, before the captain could speak, Gon on the side interjected directly. Hey kid, don't interrupt and answer, it's not your turn yet. Seeing Gon interrupting, Lirio put his hands on his hips, looking angry. It's just a reason, it doesn't matter who comes first. Gon spread his hands. My name is Kurapika, and I am a survivor of the Kuruda tribe. I decided to become a hunter in order to hunt down the bandit group that killed my entire family 4 years ago, that is, the Phantom Troupe. Kurapika on the side took a deep breath. If the captain had no right to be eliminated, he wouldn't want to reveal the secret he was hiding in his heart. Bounty hunter. The captain glanced at Kurapika and exhaled a wisp of smoke. Phantom Troupe is an A-rank wanted criminal. Moreover, the members of this gang are all very vocal. Lan Fei crossed his arms and stared at the storytelling Kurapika in front of him with a calm face. Phantom Troupe. Lan Fei, you actually know. Gon was a little surprised. You know, Lan Fei, like himself, has been raised on Whale Island since he was a child, and he knows the existence of Phantom Troupe. Listen to Uncle Huju on Whale Island, and understand a little bit. Lan Fei smiled and made up a lie casually. I see. Gon nodded. In the whole Whale Island, only Uncle HxH has a lot of knowledge and experience. So, I want to become a bounty hunter, and I want to become the strongest bounty hunter. For the sake of the Kuruda clan, I will not die so easily. Kurapika's face darkened, his dark eyes flushed faintly, and then disappeared in a flash. You want revenge. Since it's revenge, there's no need to become a hunter, right? As long as you have strength, you can complete revenge without becoming a hunter. Lirio adjusted the glasses frame. That's one of the dumbest questions I've ever heard in the world. Kurapika didn't bother to pay attention to Lirio, and said to himself, there are some places that only a hunter can enter, and some information, some things that can be done, and only a hunter can do it. Lirio was out of breath, he didn't expect Kurapika to call him stupid. If you want to kill Phantom Troupe, you must at least learn Nen. Otherwise, you have no chance at all. Lan Fei kindly reminded. Nen. Kurapika's pupils shrank suddenly, and he turned to look at Lan Fei. Nen. What it is? Gon was curious. He had a feeling that after leaving Whale Island, he couldn't see Lan Fei clearly anymore, and always felt that Lan Fei had become unfathomable. You brat, you actually know the existence of Nen. The captain's pipe couldn't help shaking, and he stared at Lan Fei in shock. The 13-year-old brat in front of me knows the existence of Phantom Troupe, but he also knows the existence of Nen. Nen. Hey, brat, what's that Nen you're talking about? Lirio was also puzzled. It won't be long before you know. Lan Fei pretended to be mysterious and said, Nen is the reliance of the strong in this world. Only by cultivating Nen can one be regarded as a real master. Unfortunately, I haven't learned Nen yet. Lan Fei secretly sighed. Ding. Just as Lan Fei was secretly sighing, an intelligent voice came from his mind. Okay. Lan Fei's eyes suddenly lit up. Host, this is a world respected by Nen. Although your Bamen Dunjia is at full level and you have swallowed the shining fruit, you haven't practiced Nen yet. In view of this problem, the system will randomly reward Nen suitable for your own department every time you pass the hunter assessment, and will also give you the space to accelerate the cultivation of Nen. Smart voice reminded. Chapter 8. Arrive at Port Dole, looking for the exam venue. Open black lens bracket flower evaluation close black lens bracket. Ask for flower evaluation support. Really? Lan Fei was a little surprised when he heard the system's words. You know, Nen is the leading method in this world. Although I can open the full level 8 Door Dunjia and swallow the shiny fruit, there are still many perverted people in this world. Their thoughts can be unimaginably strong. It's because I have powerful physical skills, I'm afraid I'm not an opponent. Especially the monsters from the Dark Continent, and those monsters from the Ant King chapter. Well, the system will randomly reward Nen suitable for the host's department. Smart voice replied. That would be great. I also want to practice Nen that suits me. Lan Fei nodded. And you, why do you want to be a hunter? At this moment, the captain, smoking a pipe, looked at Lirio, who was wearing glasses. My purpose is only one, and that is money. In the world, as long as you have money, you can buy anything. Luxury houses, luxury cars, fine wine, women. Lirio cheered excitedly. Mr. Lirio, you have to remember that money cannot buy character. Kurapika said this out of the blue. UB asterisk 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 D. Lirio was short of breath and wanted to teach Kurapika a lesson, because it was not the first time he was choked up by Kurapika. You two, enough is enough. Do you really want to be eliminated on this ship? Lan Fei spoke out to stop it. Let alone whether Lirio can beat Kurapika, once the two conflict and make the captain in front of him angry, it will be over. The captain had every right to have them both eliminated. Humph. Hearing what Lan Fei said, Lirio gave Kurapika a hard look, and didn't care about Kurapika anymore. He didn't want to be eliminated before he even arrived at the review venue. Ha ha ha, I like the characters of the four of you. Very good, very good. Next, the four of you will be sent to the port closest to the review venue by me personally. At this time, the captain who was smoking a pipe was not angry, but laughed heartily. Lan Fei is also a little confused about this captain with a changeable personality, but the only thing that is certain is that the captain's strength should not be weak. Really? In an instant, Gon cheered excitedly. Then, what about the assessment test? As I said, it all depends on my mood. All four of you are qualified. The captain took a puff of smoke lightly, turned around and walked out of the cabin and walked to the deck. Very good. Gon jumped up excitedly. Hey, this assessment is too simple. Lan Fei shook his head and walked towards the deck step by step. Now that the storm is over, it is natural to go to the deck to bask in the sun, enjoy the sea breeze, and enjoy the blue sky and white clouds. Lan Fei, wait for me. Gon quickly caught up with Lan Fei. Humph. Lirio glared at Kurapika, and walked towards the deck with his feet in his pockets. UB asterisk 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 D. Kurapika took a deep breath. If he wasn't afraid of being eliminated, he really wanted to compete with Lirio on the deck. After an hour. Port Dory. Thank you, Captain. The four got off the boat, and Gon thanked them very politely. As for Lan Fei, he just stood behind Gon, looking around curiously. You are welcome. By the way, as someone who has experienced it, let me give you a piece of advice. The captain took a deep breath with his pipe in his mouth, and said unhurriedly, there is a big fir tree on the top of the hill in Port Dole, the four of you should go there, it leads to the review venue shortcut. Okay, take care, I wish you four good luck. The captain waved his hand. Thank you, Captain. Gon waved to the captain as well. It's so lively here. Gon, let's go. Lan Fei grinned and walked towards the lively crowd first. Not long after the four of them left, an ordinary-looking man in civilian clothes who was hiding behind the unloading box couldn't help but sneered, and followed behind the four of Lan Fei. He also heard the captain's advice and knew the fastest way to the review venue. Wow, this place is much more lively than Whale Island. Lan Fei, come and see, there's a lot of food here. Just squeezed into the lively crowd, Gon couldn't help screaming excitedly. Gon, we didn't come out to play, don't forget the purpose of our trip, let's find the review venue as soon as possible. Lan Fei patted his forehead. Even after leaving Whale Island, Gon's playful nature remained unchanged. By the way, Take a look at this road map. At this time, Lirio stopped in front of a huge road map in Port Door. Don't you think it's strange? The experiment venue is clearly somewhere in the Saba area, but the cedar tree is in the opposite direction of the Saba area. Could the old captain lie to us? But, I heard you right. What the captain said was the tallest fir tree on the top of the mountain. Going there is the fastest shortcut. Gon scratched his head. Perhaps, this is also a test to go to the review venue. At this time, Lan Fei analyzed it and continued. I believe the old captain's words, he will not lie to us, and he picks up and drops people who take the hunter exam to arrive here every year, so he should be familiar with Port Door and the review venue. There is also a certain understanding of the location. I think so, the old captain will not lie to us. If he wants 4 of us to be eliminated, he can announce it on the boat. Although it seems to be the opposite, I believe there should be a shortcut. Kurapika also agrees with Lan Fei. Are you out of your mind? Isn't there a direct shuttle bus to the Barcelona area? We'll just take the shuttle bus. Lirio was a little puzzled. The review venue will not be found so easily by those of us who took the hunter exam. If you can find it by taking the shuttle bus to the Barcelona area, then the hunter exam is too easy. Let's go. This old captain is still a bit of a surprise. Lan Fei shrugged, turned around and walked in the direction the captain said. Behind him, Gon and Kurapika also chased after him. Hey, wait for me. Lirio couldn't hold back the 3 of Lan Fei, so he could only bite the bullet and chase after them. Chapter 9 Lirio breaks defense, a test of brain power. Ask for flower evaluation. Is there really a shortcut to the review venue here at the top of the mountain? I didn't even see a single person here. I just said that the 3 of you are too easy to trust people. This old captain definitely has bad intentions. After walking for a while, the 4 of them gradually came to the top of the mountain. The area around the top of the mountain is not as bustling and lively as the port. It is so remote that there is no one in sight. Lirio, who followed at the end, became vigilant. I don't care what the old captain said, I care more about the choice between Lan Fei and Gon. As long as you are here, you can find the exam venue. Kurapika followed behind Lan Fei unhurriedly. Kurapika, I'm committed to you as a friend. Gon winked at Kurapika. Although I don't know the credibility of the captain's old man's words, the hunter exam is not that simple. Sometimes the opposite thinking may lead to unexpected results. Lan Fei walked in the front and looked around carefully. Rumble. Suddenly, when everyone was nervous, a weird warehouse door in front slowly opened, and a wooden cart was pushed out. On the wooden cart stood several mysterious figures in white clothes and masks. In front of the response, sat an old woman in purple with gray hair. Someone. Gon stopped in his tracks for an instant. Old woman. Could it be another level of the hunter exam? Lan Fei frowned. Nervous. Is it exciting? Welcome to the small town of Port Door. Are you going to the tallest fir tree? The old woman who closed her eyes slowly opened her eyes. Her voice was extremely high-pitched. If this is the case, I am here as a checkpoint that you must pass. Next, I will ask a question. You have 5 seconds to think about it. Disuse. Hey, it won't be so sudden, will it? You scare us a lot. Lirio accused dissatisfiedly. I understand, you only need to complete the assessment to pass here. Kurapika nodded. Are you ready? The old woman narrowed her cloudy old eyes. Isn't it just answering questions? I'm the best at this. Lirio patted his chest confidently. Young people, don't draw conclusions so early. I only ask one question, and you can only answer 1 or 2. If you answer other ambiguous answers, it will be considered wrong, and you will also be eliminated. The old woman stared at Lirio with a smile. Old woman, don't blot the ink, come up with a question soon. Lan Fei urged. Grandma, as long as one of us knows the answer, it will be considered as a pass. Gon asked. Hey, hurry up, or I'll answer first. Suddenly, before the old woman could open her mouth, an ordinary-looking man in common clothes walked over with his hands behind his back. Who is this guy? Lirio adjusted the frame of his glasses and stared closely at the clothed man. He's been behind us since we left the port. Lan Fei glanced at the clothed man from the corner of his eye, his face was very calm. When saying goodbye to the old captain at the port, Lan Fei found the civilian man following behind him, but Lan Fei didn't care about the civilian man, so naturally he didn't intend to do anything. Otherwise, the commoner men would have been eliminated long ago. Indeed, once Lan Fei makes a shot, the commoner man will have no chance to continue to take the hunter exam. Sorry, I just happened to hear your farewell words, and that's when I realized that there is such a shortcut to the review venue. The clothed man spread his hands. How is it? How do you choose? At this time, the old woman lowered her voice, and stared at Lan Fei and the others with a half-smile. Since this person wants to be the first bird, let him answer first. Lan Fei said lightly. Yeah, let him come first, and take a look at the direction of the question. Gon smiled and said, he really doesn't have much talent in answering questions, and now all his hopes are pinned on Lan Fei. I have no opinion. Kurapika turned around directly, giving way to the civilian man. Soon, a mysterious man in white and a mask slowly walked up to the civilian man with an answer box. A group of idiots, I will pass this level, reach that fir tree first, and set a lot of traps for you. The clothed man grinned and made a secret move. Listen well, if your mother and lover were caught by bad guys, and you could only save one mother, 2 lovers, which one would you save? The old woman's cloudy old eyes flashed a bright light instantly. What the hell? What kind of problem is this? Hearing the old woman's words, Lan Fei was startled, feeling dumbfounded. Isn't this question the same as the countless girlfriends who tortured the souls of their boyfriends before they crossed over? Just like me and your mother fell into the river at the same time, who do you save first? There is no satisfactory answer to this question. What kind of stupid question is this? Lirio patted his forehead. Lan Fei, it's up to you, I can't answer this question. Gon curled his lips. This question is definitely a trap. Kurapika frowned, lost in thought. The answer is 1. At this time, the civilian man sneered, and pressed the bell for 1 without hesitation. Why? The old woman looked up and glanced at the commoner man. Because a mother is irreplaceable, but a lover can be found again at any time. The clothed man replied as a matter of course. Very well, let's go. The old woman waved. Hey, old woman, how can such an answer be correct? Seeing the old woman let the civilian man pass, Lirio was dissatisfied instantly. In his opinion, where is the checkpoint? It was a farce. Forget it, I'll find another way out. Lirio gritted his teeth. He was self-aware. With his brainpower, he might not be able to answer the question, and he would be eliminated sooner or later. Seeing Lirio yelling, Lan Fei didn't take it seriously, but was thinking about whether the answer to the question was right for the old woman or the question itself. It's too late, if you don't answer the questions here, you will be eliminated by now. The old woman's words poured over Lirio's impulsive mind like a basin of cold water. Just kidding, the answer to this kind of question is different from person to person, so you can simply pass it off with one correct answer. Lirio pointed at the old woman dissatisfied. Well, can't you just write it down in words? In an instant, Lan Fei thought of a possibility, and the corners of his mouth couldn't help but slightly raised. I see. At this time, Kurapika, who had pondered for a while, also realized how to pass the checkpoint set by the old woman. Chapter 10 Choice and Silence. Pass the level successfully. Open black lens bracket. Seeking flowers. Evaluation. Close black lens bracket. Lirio. After discovering the rules of this level, Kurapika just wanted to remind Lirio, but was quickly stopped by the old woman. Wait. The old woman raised her hand, and a gleam flashed in her cloudy eyes. You are not allowed to talk now, and if you continue talking, you will be eliminated immediately. Gon. Immediately, Lan Fei gave Gon a wink, and he also realized that the old woman's problem was just a simple trap. Listen carefully to the next question. When your son and daughter are both kidnapped, and you can only rescue one of them, son 1 and daughter 2, which one will you rescue? The old woman asked the exam question again. Damn it, it's this kind of problem again. Lirio gritted his teeth and stared at the old woman. He is a single-minded person, and he will not be able to discover the trap of this level for a while. 5, 4. The old woman didn't care about Lirio's outburst, and started the countdown. And Lirio was also instantly irritated, and directly picked up the wood beside him, so arrogant, it's even started counting seconds. 1. Time is up. The old woman was unmoved, and stared at Lirio calmly. Court death. Lirio jumped up and hit the old woman with a stick. This guy really has a brain. So easily provoked. Lan Fei frowned, his figure turned into a golden light, and instantly appeared in front of the old woman, stopping the furious Lirio. If this stick falls, Lirio should be eliminated. The test of this level is not only a test of brain power, but also a person's psychological quality. I didn't expect Lirio to be fooled so quickly. Don't block me, I want to teach this old woman a good lesson, otherwise it will be difficult to get rid of the anger in my heart. Lirio gritted his teeth and said, calm down, do you want to be eliminated? Lan Fei stared at Lirio coldly. However, how to pass this kind of question? Lirio clenched his fists. How dare you take the hunter exam with your brain? Lan Fei was very speechless, he was irritated so easily, how to pass the next level? You. Lirio glared at Lan Fei angrily. We've all passed, so don't yell in front of the examiner. Kurapika couldn't stand it anymore, and quickly stopped Lirio. Passed. Lirio was stunned, and slowly put down the wooden stick in his hand. We have already answered the question just now, and silence is the answer to this question. Kurapika explained. Silence. Lirio scratched his head, and couldn't get his head around for a while. That's right. There is no correct answer to this question, but the rule is that it can only be answered with 1 or 2. Therefore, we cannot answer and can only remain silent. So, I gave Gon a wink earlier and told him to keep quiet. It's you, Lirio, who falls so easily into this question. Lan Fei gave Lirio a blank look. But, didn't that person just pass by? At this time, Gon, who also didn't fully understand, stared at Lan Fei with a puzzled face. The examiner just told him to come over, and didn't say that he got the answer right. So, there is no correct answer to this question itself, but the examiner's mentality. Right. Lan Fei stared at the old woman with a smile. That's right. The old woman stared at Lan Fei appreciatively, then stood up slowly, and continued. The correct road is here. There is no fork in the road. As long as you walk 2 disappearances, you can reach the top of the mountain. Bang. As soon as the old woman finished speaking, there was a vibration from the originally closed dark passage behind her, and a light appeared at the end of the passage, which was the correct exit to the top of the mountain. So this is all. Thank you, Lan Fei. If you hadn't stopped me, I'd have been eliminated. Lirio took a deep breath. Lan Fei, you are really amazing. With you here, I feel that the hunter exam has become a lot easier. Gon raised his hands excitedly. There is a couple living in a cabin under the cedar tree on the top of the mountain, and they are the pilots. As long as you pass their assessment, they will naturally take you to the review venue. The old woman said lightly. Old woman, I'm sorry, I was too reckless. Seeing that the old woman became more amiable, Lirio hesitated for a moment, then took a step forward, and apologized softly. It's nothing, don't worry about it. I did this job just to test you. You four, do your best and be a good hunter. The old woman exhorted. Thank you, old lady. Gon also bowed slightly in respect. Grandma, if you had to choose between two options for this question, which one would you choose? At this time, Lan Fei stared at the old woman meaningfully. The old woman was stunned. This question fell on her, and she couldn't answer it for a while. Anyway, thank you very much. Lan Fei bowed slightly. Although there is no real answer to this question, it also reflects the cruelty of reality. If the hunter exam really comes to a moment of life and death where you can only choose one of the two to survive, how should you choose? Let's go. Lan Fei took a deep breath, stepped into the passage first, and walked towards the bright light exit at the end of the passage. Lan Fei, wait for me. Behind him, Gon followed. Lirio, don't be so impulsive next time. Kurapika patted Lirio's shoulder and followed Lan Fei's footsteps. Thanks. Lirio took a deep look at Kurapika. Thinking that he had conflicts with Kurapika before, but Kurapika helped him at the critical moment, Lirio felt an indescribable self-blame in his heart. Wait for me. Lirio shook off his thoughts, and chased after Lan Fei and the three of them. Chapter 11 8-foot mirror. Kurapika's shock open black lens bracket seeking flower evaluation close black lens bracket. The old woman's words are not a lie, are they? 2 hours. Has it been 4 hours? Damn it, it's getting dark, and I haven't come under that fir tree yet. Under the night, the moonlight illuminated the deep forest on the top of the mountain, and Lirio, who was walking at the end, began to doubt what the old woman said before. Lirio, can you be patient? Kurapika shouted dissatisfied. Lirio, it takes a lot of perseverance and endurance to take the hunter exam. Gon also reminded, watch out for monsters. At this time, Lan Fei, who was walking in the front, found a stone tablet, and with the help of moonlight, he could vaguely read the words on the stone tablet. It's another warning sign to be careful of monsters. If we go on like this, can we really reach the review venue? Lirio patted his forehead. Look, here we are. Just when Lirio was sighing, Lan Fei was pleasantly surprised to find that there was a huge fir tree at the end of the path, and under the moonlight, a wooden house could be vaguely seen. Okay, finally found it. Gon's eyes lit up and he raised his hands excitedly. Let's go and have a look. Lan Fei's figure flickered, and he swept towards the wooden house. Lan Fei, wait for me. Gon also quickly chased after Lan Fei. After a while, the four of them came to the wooden house. Bang bang bang. Is anyone here? The impatient Lirio directly raised his hand and knocked on the door. However, no one responded. No one there. Gon frowned. Could it be that the assessment has begun? Lan Fei took a deep breath and pushed open the door. Sorry to bother you. After pushing open the door, the four of them walked in together. Not good. There really are monsters, and it's a magic beast, a vicious fox. It can change into a human, and it's a beast with a high IQ. The moment they walked into the wooden house, the four of Lan Fei realized something was wrong, and the well-informed Kurapika immediately recognized the monster in front of him. Gia, I saw a huge red-eyed fox showing fierce fangs, and it made a strange laugh. It held a girl with its sharp claws, and beside the girl, a young man fell into a pool of blood. Damn it, save someone quickly. Gon is in a hurry. The person who fell to the ground should be given first aid as soon as possible, otherwise, he will lose too much blood and die. Although Lirio's brain is not enough, he is still impatient, but when he encounters this kind of life and death, his doctor's nature is revealed. Boom. As soon as Lirio finished speaking, the huge fox leapt up, broke through the roof directly, and carried the girl into the deep forest at high speed, before disappearing into the night. Please, your uncle and my wife. At this time, the sound of the roof being broken woke up the man lying in the pool of blood. He raised his hand with difficulty, pointed to the roof, and spoke weakly. Lirio, I'll leave it to you. We're going to save people. Gon's figure flickered, and he was the first to rush out of the cabin. Whether it's an assessment or not, save people first. Kurapika also chased it out. Warcraft vicious fox. The speed is quite fast, but in front of me, this speed is not enough at all. Lan Fei grinned. 8-foot mirror. I saw Lan Fei raised his hand, condensed a beam of light, and then shot it in the direction where the giant fox disappeared, forming a refracted light track. Immediately afterwards, Lan Fei's figure suddenly disappeared in place. The speed of this fox is too fast. Kurapika, who chased into the deep forest, felt a headache for an instant. Kurapika, hurry up. At this time, Gon's figure flew past Kurapika. His speed was very fast, completely beyond Kurapika's expectation. The deep forest is so deep and dark, it's not easy for this guy to be able to follow the afterimage of the vicious fox closely. Seeing that Gon's speed is no slower than the vicious fox, Kurapika couldn't help but marvel. Fierce fox, let go of that girl. Gon, who was chasing at the front, shouted loudly. Gia, come and grab if you have the ability. The vicious fox's strange voice also responded. Mom, it's amazing, he can talk. Gon stared at the fast-running vicious fox, his face became more and more excited. Warcraft vicious foxes can not only transform into humans, but also manipulate human language. Kurapika caught up to Gon and explained. I see. That would be more fun. Gon speeded up again, and chased after the vicious fox. Buzz. Suddenly, just when Gon was about to catch up with the vicious fox, a dazzling golden light refracted, passed beside Gon and Kurapika, and irradiated the top of the vicious fox in an instant. As this light, Kurapika was a little shocked. The speed of light. Gon also felt unbelievable. The golden light in front of him was so fast, it passed by in the blink of an eye, and directly shone on the head of the vicious fox. Where does the light come from? The vicious fox figure that left afterimages suddenly stopped in the air. It raised its head, its pupils were full of shock, and stared at the golden light above its head. Want to escape? An abrupt voice came out from the golden light, and Lan Fei's figure slowly condensed from the golden light. Lan Fei. Gon was taken aback. Lan Fei, how is this going? Kurapika stared at Lan Fei with a face full of shock. The scene in front of him was incredible. The golden light condenses the figure of Lan Fei. What means? Moreover, Lan Fei was the last to chase out of the wooden house, and now he is the first to catch up with the vicious fox, which is too scary and weird. Boom. In an instant, before the vicious fox could react, Lan Fei directly raised his foot, kicking the vicious fox hard with a speed of light kick. So fast. The vicious fox's pupils shrank suddenly. Boom. In an instant, its figure fell heavily from the void like a falling meteorite, directly smashing a deep hole in the ground, and the girl in the ferocious fox's arms also fell from the sky. Gon. Lan Fei shouted. It is good. Gon jumped up and directly caught the girl falling from the sky. What a strong strength. Seeing the power of Lan Fei's kick, Kurapika's heart was moved. Boom. At this moment, the vicious fox in the deep pit struggled and stood up with difficulty. It breathed heavily, and blood was faintly flowing from its ferocious fangs. Obviously, it hurts. Damn it, this boy. The vicious fox's red eyes couldn't help but tighten. It stared at Lan Fei firmly, with a trace of fear in its heart. Chapter 12 Clearing the Customs. We are the pilots seeking flower evaluation. As a monster, this is the first time it has encountered a boy with such terrifying strength. Lan Fei in front of him looked about 12 or 13 years old, but his methods were extremely strange, with the speed of light, and his attacks were not only fast but also powerful, and he kicked himself seriously injured. Too perverted. This examiner is not easy to do. The vicious fox stared at Lan Fei with bared teeth, and the light in those red eyes dimmed a lot at the moment. Are you okay? Gon embraced the girl who fell in the void, and his figure landed beside Kurapika. I'm fine, thank you. Please also take me to my husband. The girl nodded, glanced at the vicious fox that was kicked away by Lan Fei from the corner of her eye, and couldn't help but clenched her hands tightly. Okay. Suddenly, at this moment, the careful Kurapika noticed the girl's wrist. There was a tattoo on the wrist, which looked very strange under the moonlight. You are. Kurapika discovered the identity of the girl in an instant. Kurapika. At this moment, a voice interrupted Kurapika's thoughts, and Lirio ran over from a distance. Are you all right? Lirio. Kurapika was slightly taken aback. Lirio, why are you here? What happened to the man in the cabin? Gon waved excitedly at Lirio. He was also very puzzled, not knowing why Lirio appeared here. He's fine. Nothing serious. His injury is much lighter than expected. Lirio spread his hands. Yes. Seeing Lirio walking towards him, Kurapika couldn't help showing a sneer, then raised his hand, and slammed the nunchuck hard on Lirio's head. What's going on? Kurapika, why did you do something to Lirio? Gon on the side looked confused. Gon, don't be fooled by him, he's not Lirio. Kurapika stared at Lirio coldly. Whoosh. At this moment, the seriously injured vicious fox jumped up from the deep pit, trying to escape. Wow. However, when it jumped into the air, it was blocked by golden light. If you don't want to die, stay here obediently. Otherwise, I don't care if you are an examiner or not. The golden light once again condensed into Lan Fei's figure. What? You? The vicious fox's red eyes could not help but tighten at this moment, staring at Lan Fei firmly. It didn't expect that Lan Fei recognized its identity. Moreover, Lan Fei's words also clearly told it that Lan Fei has the strength to kill it. The vicious fox didn't doubt Lan Fei's words, nor did he doubt Lan Fei's strength, because the speed displayed by Lan Fei was too terrifying. A person could actually have the speed of light, and his attack power was definitely not weak. The fierce fox can be sure that Lan Fei is the most powerful among the people it has met to take the hunter exam over the years. Isn't he Lirio? Gon on the other side didn't notice what Lan Fei and the vicious fox were doing, but stared at Lirio. Gia, how did you know I was a fake? At this time, Lirio let out a strange laugh, and saw that his figure began to swell, his clothes were torn, and his eyes began to glow red, revealing his true appearance, which was another vicious fox. It's very simple. When it's unclear whether the monster will attack again, with Lirio's temperament, he will not leave the wounded and swagger outside. Even more will not find us in such a short time. Kurapika said lightly. Good. You're really caring and really promising to be hunter. The ferocious fox who showed his real body grinned and said. Now, it's your turn. Kurapika turned his head, looked at the girl sitting on the ground, slowly placed the nunchuck on her neck, and said meaningfully, you and the injured man are not husband and wife, who are you? What? Could it be that she also became a vicious fox? Hearing Kurapika's question, Gon was shocked again. Ha ha ha, I didn't expect to be discovered by you. The girl ignored Kurapika's gaze, but patted the dust on her body, then stood up, and said unhurriedly, I am their daughter. Whoosh. As soon as the girl's voice fell, the vicious fox figure that was originally intercepted by Lan Fei flickered and landed behind Kurapika. Really? Lan Fei grinned, his figure flickered, and landed beside Gon. He had already guessed the identities of these vicious foxes, but he didn't know how they were assessed, so he didn't kill them. Otherwise, with Shining Fruit's ability, the vicious fox just now might have died. Congratulations, you have passed. At this time, among the two identical vicious foxes, the seriously injured one bared its teeth and stared deeply at Lan Fei with its red eyes. Lan Fei, Gon, Kurapika. At this moment, Liurio's voice came from a distance, and Liurio was seen waving his hands while running towards the three of Lan Fei. Behind Liurio was the injured man who was rescued. Passed. Gon was taken aback. What is your assessment method for us? Kurapika wasn't surprised, but like Lan Fei, he didn't know how the vicious foxes were assessed, so he didn't fight. Jia, all four of you have passed this level. Now, let me reintroduce you, we are the pilots, and the whole family supports the hunter exam. The seriously injured fierce fox explained. Hello, I am my daughter. The girl waved her hand. Hello, I am my son. The wounded man also waved. Hello, I am my wife. Another fierce fox also introduced himself. Really, I was almost cheated by you guys. Liurio pouted, feeling a little dissatisfied. The venue for the hunter exam changes every year. It is difficult to find that place by yourself, so our leader is to bring the candidates there with heavy burdens. Of course, we didn't bring everyone here at random. Only those who passed our assessment and screening will be sent to the venue. We are very satisfied with the performance of the four of you. Kurapika, you have a delicate mind, you can find clues from the subtleties, and recognize that we are not a husband and wife relationship, so you are qualified. Liurio, although you didn't find out my real identity, you were more professional than a doctor when it came to first aid, and the way of first aid was also correct, and you also cheered me up. This caring heart is enough to take the hunter exam, so, judged to be qualified. Gon, your speed is actually comparable to mine. This kind of strength is enough to take the hunter exam and pass the judgment. As for Lan Fei, your strength is beyond imagination. I have been the navigator for so many years, and you are the first person who seriously injured me. Your strength is enough to take the hunter exam and pass the judgment. The seriously injured vicious fox explained their assessment methods one by one. Chapter 13 Hunter Candidate. Arrive at the examination venue, seeking flower evaluation. Lan Fei, did you hear that the pilot is praising you? Gon smiled and winked at Lan Fei. By the way, Lan Fei, the golden light before, could it be some kind of method of yours? Or maybe you can reach the speed of light. Kurapika at the side took a deep look at Lan Fei. Actually, I'm also quite curious. As a monster, the speed of my vicious fox family can't be caught up by ordinary people, and the defensive fur is also amazing, but I was seriously injured by you. Even if your speed is real hunter, I'm afraid I won't be able to catch up. The seriously injured vicious fox couldn't help sighing. This is my personal ability. It can be compared to the speed of light at the extreme speed. Lan Fei didn't want to reveal too much about the strength of Shining Fruit, so he just lied casually. Personal ability. Can it be compared to the speed of light at extreme speed? Could it be some kind of Nen with special traits? But this little guy is only 13 years old. He has cultivated Nen at the age of 13. The seriously injured vicious fox faintly became afraid. If it was as he guessed, wouldn't it be too monstrous? Individual ability. Kurapika frowned and didn't ask further. It seems that my strength is still too weak. If you want to destroy Phantom Troupe, you must work hard to improve your strength. Okay, now we will take you to the venue of the hunter exam. The four of us, the four of you, can just take them there at once. At this time, another vicious fox also spoke, and it was the wife of the seriously injured vicious fox. Flutter. As soon as the words fell, the daughter and son who had originally transformed into human forms also returned to their original forms. They vibrated each other's wings and swirled gusts of wind. Grab our feet and let's go. The seriously injured fierce fox reminded. Boom. In an instant, four ferocious foxes fluttered their wings and flew high into the sky, and Lan Fei and the others also tightly grasped their feet, allowing them to travel through the void and fly towards the examination venue under the moonlight. Great. We can finally arrive at the venue. All four of us qualified. Under the moonlight, Gon's voice slowly penetrated the entire void. Gon, don't get too excited, we just got the qualifications to take the exam now. Lan Fei reminded. It's okay, at least we're taking a step forward. Liurio chimed in too. The next day, the sun was shining brightly. The four of Lan Fei didn't know how far the exam venue was. Led by the navigators, the vicious foxes, they arrived in Saba City after a full night. This is the real location of the hunter exam venue. At this moment, on the busy street. Actually, the main job of our leaders is to screen out talented hunter candidates and send them to the venue. And the four of you all have the strength to become hunters candidates. A group of 5 people shuttled through the lively crowd unhurriedly, and the leader was the seriously injured son of the vicious fox. After arriving in Saba City, his task was to take the four of Lan Fei to the examination venue. Hunter candidate. Lan Fei nodded, looking around curiously. Without you pilots, wouldn't it be more difficult to find the exam venue than going to the sky? Kurapika curled his lips. Well, it's really difficult. The ferocious fox son nodded. Wow, it's so lively here. Lan Fei, I want to eat that. At this time, Gon ran towards the stall selling panda and frog skewers not far from the street. Gon, stop running around. Lan Fei patted his forehead, and Gon's playful nature was revealed again. It seems that Saba City really can't be careless. Lirio adjusted his glasses frame and looked around curiously. The bigger the town, the more lively it is, and there will naturally be more strange or troublesome people. Kurapika said lightly. Half an hour later, a group of 5 people came to a huge square in Saba City. Here we are, the venue is right here. The vicious fox's son stopped slowly, and glanced at a towering building in the square. Wow, Gon looked up instantly, and shouted excitedly, it's so tall, this building is really tall. It turns out that the venue is here. Lirio also raised his head. After working hard for so long, he finally arrived at the hunter exam venue. As the exam venue inside, looking up at the tall building, Lan Fei couldn't help but take a deep breath. This place should gather strong players from all over the world who want to become hunters. Hunter's first challenge, I absolutely can't lose. Kurapika clenched his fists, only the bounty hunter has the chance to destroy Phantom Troupe, for this purpose, he has paid too much. Ha ha ha, I was just joking with you, the real venue is here. While the 4 were happy, the vicious fox's son pointed to a small restaurant next to the building. What the hell, you're not mistaken, are you? Could it be that all the people in the world who want to become hunters are going to gather here? Isn't this too ridiculous? Lirio was startled, and instantly dissatisfied. Bistro. It's really different. Could it be another test? Lan Fei was also stunned. How could this small restaurant gather so many people? That's right, it's here. No one would have guessed that this small restaurant is the hunter exam venue for millions of candidates. The son of the vicious fox shrugged and looked at Lan Fei and the others with a smile. It made me happy in vain. Gon curled his lips in dissatisfaction. If you come, you will be safe, let's go. Kurapika shook his head with a wry smile, and stepped into the small restaurant in front of him first. Welcome. As soon as Lan Fei walked into the small restaurant, he heard a chef in white hexagram at the front desk greet him politely. And the chef is grilling the steak at the moment. Is that room inside empty? The vicious fox's son spoke slowly. What do you want? The chef turned to look at Lan Fei and the other 5. Steak for 4. The vicious fox's son slowly stretched out 4 fingers. Serves 4. How do you bake it? The chef's expression changed. Cook and roast over low heat until fully cooked. The fierce fox's son said calmly. Got it, the room inside please. The cook nodded. After a while, the 5 of them walked into a small room that was not spacious. The 4 of you just wait here first. The son of the vicious fox exhorted. Wait, where are the others? Lirio was very puzzled. Just now, was that a code word? Lan Fei asked. Okay. The vicious fox's son nodded, and continued. You can't wait for the steak, you 4, come on, it's best not to let me bring you here next year. Boom. After saying goodbye to Lan Fei and the others, the son of the vicious fox turned around and closed the door heavily. Boom. At the same time, the whole room vibrated suddenly, and the 4 of Lan Fei were taken aback. They only felt that the room was rising at an extremely fast speed, and there was a feeling of being overweight. Chapter 14 Weird and Horror, Number 44 Magician Hisoka Open Black Lens Bracket Flower Evaluation Close Black Lens Bracket. Kneeling for flowers to evaluate and support, tomorrow will be updated. What happened? Feeling overweight, Lan Fei's face remained unchanged, he looked up and saw a floor number jumping on the door of the room. Could it be that this small room is an elevator? Kurapika frowned. Where is this going to take us? Is it the real exam venue? Lirio straightened his glasses frame and stared at the beating floor numbers in disbelief. It's no wonder we never met any of the so many people who took the hunter exam. It should be transported to the real exam venue through this small room. Gon squeezed his chin. Ding. 5 minutes later, when the floor number jumped to 100, the vibrating small room slowly stopped, and the feeling of overweight disappeared instantly, replaced by the feeling of weightlessness. 100 floors. Lan Fei was a little surprised. It should be here. Kurapika took a deep breath. Bang. At this moment, the door of the small room opened slowly and automatically, and what appeared in front of us was a venue the size of 2 football fields. The lights here were a bit dim, but dense figures could be seen clearly. So many people. This is really the exam venue. Gon glanced excitedly at the figures in the venue. The breath of the strong. It's not comparable to those we met before. Lan Fei glanced at the dense crowd of people. There are all kinds of people gathered here, with different looks, including men and women. They should be the elites gathered from all over the country to take the hunter exam. The atmosphere in this place is kind of weird. Lirio frowned, and after the 4 of them walked out of the small room, all the dense figures gathered here cast malicious glances. Well, these people are obviously different from the candidates encountered in ports and towns. Everyone gathered here is a super expert among hunter candidates. Moreover, they should all have specialized strengths. Kurapika turned out to be very calm. May I ask? The cheerful Gon slowly raised his hand, and was about to ask, but was suppressed by the tense atmosphere of the people in front of him. Gon, don't. Lan Fei shook his head and quickly stopped Gon. The reason why these people's spirits are so tense is because everyone here may become an enemy, and if they are not careful, they may fall into the trap and be out of the game. Indeed. From the moment the four of Lan Fei walked in, the densely packed figures gathered here all cast hostile gazes. They all know that those who can get here are the elite among the alternate hunters, and they are not weak opponents. You are welcome here. Please accept your number plates. At this time, when the four of Lan Fei were at a loss, a staff member in a suit and with a face like a cartoon frog came slowly, and then handed Lan Fei and the others their respective number plates. Liurio's is 403, Kurapika's is 404, Gon's is 405, and Lan Fei's is 406. Number plate. Lan Fei nodded, and said to himself, I just got to 406. Isn't there more than 1 million people who come to participate every year? Could it be that millions of people have been eliminated? Or is this just one of the exam venues? Quote. Please, all of you, be sure to pin the number plate to your chest so that you don't lose it. This is your identity representative. The staff reminded, then turned and left. Are you guys new here? Not long after the staff left, a fat man with a number 16 on his chest slowly walked towards Lan Fei and the others. How did you find out? Gon greeted quickly. This is easy. Anyway, I have taken the hunter exam 35 times. I can tell who is new and who has taken the exam at a glance. The chubby man said with a smile on his face, showing no hostility towards Lan Fei and the others. Participated 35 times. Hearing this, Kurapika couldn't help being curious about the fat man in front of him. Can't pass the exam 35 times. It seems that he is a rookie. Lan Fei pouted. It's not that Lan Fei belittled the fat man in front of him. In his opinion, if he failed to pass the exam 35 times, it was definitely his own problem. 35 times. Gon and Liurio were also shocked. On the other hand, this slightly fat man didn't care at all, as if he was used to it, and he also looked a little complacent. Yeah, I'm already a veteran of the hunter exam. The chubby man nodded and continued, my name is Tonpa. If you have anything you don't understand, you can ask me, and I can answer it for you. Thank you, my name is Gon, and the three behind me are Lan Fei, Kurapika, and Liurio. Seeing that the fat man showed no hostility, Gon did not refuse either. Gon, don't trust people so easily. Everyone here is not simple. Lan Fei reminded. Understood. Gon chuckled and made a face at Lan Fei. You. Lan Fei felt helpless. Excuse me, among the people here, how many seniors like Mr. Tonpa are there? Gon seemed to be acquainted. Since he offered to help, he would not let go of such an opportunity. Of course there is, but no one is as old as me. However, like that person. Number 225, the wrestler Takuto, this person has explosive power and a very smart mind. Tonpa pointed to a fat middle-aged man who was eating a cake. On the opposite side of him is the number 103 snake charmer Ba Peng. That person is as persistent as I am. It will be very difficult to be an enemy of him. There is also number 191, martial artist Bao Deluo. Although he is old, his accomplishments in martial arts are unparalleled. These are all frequent visitors to the hunter exam. Barton introduced. What? Suddenly, at this moment, there was a shrill scream from the crowd, and a candidate was kneeling on the ground with his eyes widened in pain. The speed disappeared, and it was like falling petals. This strange and terrifying scene really made many people tremble with fear. In front of the examinee stood a mysterious man with red hair, a 5-pointed star printed on his right face, and a number plate with 44 pinned to his chest. It's amazing, the hands turned into petals and disappeared. I don't have hands and feet. Be careful next time, remember to apologize if you bump into someone. Oh yes, there should be no next time for you. Man number 44 spread his hands, and a faint voice came out of his mouth, but it was so strange and frightening that it fell to everyone's ears. That guy is the magician Hisoka. Lan Fei's face was shocked, and he stared fixedly at the red-haired man with the number 44 pinned to it. Chapter 15 The Zoldyck Family, Chia Open Black Lens Bracket Flower Evaluation Close Black Lens Bracket. I beg everyone for a flower, an evaluation vote for support. Lan Fei still has a certain understanding of Hisoka. It can be said that Hisoka is a master, and also a super strong nen. His mystery and his strength are the nightmare of many people. As long as the person Hisoka targets, there is almost no good end. That dangerous guy really came again this year. Tonpa stared at the magician Hisoka with a serious face. Here we go again. Gon shook slightly, feeling the pressure faintly. Meaning, did this guy participate last year? Kurapika frowned. Even though he was so far away, he could still feel the invisible pressure emanating from Hisoka, which was the pressure from the strong. Number 44, Magician Hisoka, this is a dangerous figure. Last year, he almost passed the exam, but at the last moment he beat the examiner who didn't like him to death. Tonpa nodded, recalling the scenes of last year, he still has lingering fears. No way, beat the examiner half to death. How terrible strength does this require? Also, isn't this considered a foul? Can you still take the hunter exam this year? Liurio was puzzled. Of course you can. The examiner and the test questions change every year, and the test questions are decided by the examiner. As long as this year's examiner passes the test, even if you are a murderer or demon, you can pass. This is the hunter exam. Even if you beat the examiner to death, you can take it next year. You guys better stay away from this guy. Tonpa reminded. Hisoka. Lan Fei squinted, his eyes full of fighting spirit. Now that he has cultivated the full-level Bamen Dunjia and swallowed the shining fruit, even if he has not cultivated Nen, he can still fight Hisoka. Right, let's make friends. At this time, Tonpa slowly took out a few bottles of soda from his pocket, and looked at Gon with a smile on his face. Among the four of Lan Fei, Tonpa saw through Gon's character at a glance, and naturally wanted to attack Gon. No need. Just when Gon was about to take the soda, Lan Fei stepped forward and stopped Gon. Mr. Tonpa, you have taken the hunter exam 35 times, don't pretend to be so simple, get out. Ha ha ha, I don't understand what you said, I just want to make friends with you. Tonpa scratched his head, still looking very simple and honest, but an imperceptible cold light flashed in his eyes. Lan Fei, I think Mr. Tonpa is very nice. Gon was puzzled. Gon, everyone here is not simple. Don't forget, this is the hunter exam, everyone has their own minds, don't trust anyone easily. Lan Fei gave Gon a hard look. Since you are here to take the hunter exam, don't be too naive. Of course, like Kurapika and Lirio, Lan Fei, as a time traveler, naturally knew that they didn't have too many crooked thoughts, but the Tonpa in front of him, known as the killer of newcomers, was not a good bird at all. Gon, I think Lan Fei is right, everyone here is hiding something, don't trust people too easily. Kurapika also spoke out to remind. Sorry Mr. Tonpa. Gon gritted his teeth apologetically. Fine. Tonpa waved his hand, glanced at Lan Fei with a smile, and then turned to leave. It seems that it was rejected. Yeah, this guy is pretending to be a good person again, but he doesn't know that he is the most evil. Rookie killer Tonpa. Not far away, several candidates who knew each other started whispering to each other. Damn it, are all the newcomers this year so vigilant? It seems that it is not easy to start. Tonpa walked back to his original position, and glanced at the hundreds of people present with a solemn face. Hey, Mr. Tonpa, is the juice still available? Maybe I'm nervous, I'm thirsty again. Suddenly, just as Tonpa continued to search for the target, a voice came over, and a man with silver white hair in short sleeves waved at him, and the number plate number 99 was pinned to the boy's chest impressively. Oh, okay. Tonpa was stunned, and secretly speculated in his heart. This guy, he drank the drink just now, and the laxative in it should have taken effect long ago, but nothing happened. Clap. Soon, rookie number 99 walked up to Tonpa with a skateboard in his arms, took the drink in his hand, and gulped it down. This guy, what's going on? Even if it's a laxative, you should be dehydrated after drinking so much. Tonpa stared at newcomer number 99 with a gloomy expression. Is it strange? At this time, newcomer number 99 stared at Tonpa with a calm face, and continued. Sorry, I have practiced since I was a child, it doesn't matter, poison is useless to me. What? Tonpa's complexion changed suddenly, and he stared at the newcomer number 99 who turned and left. This guy, knowing that I poisoned the drink, still drank it without hesitation. No. 99 Chia is worthy of the Zoldyck family, the people here are too perverted. The newcomers in this class are all amazing. It's him. Chia from the Zoldyck family. Not far away, Lan Fei also noticed newcomer number 99, and his face was shocked. In Lan Fei's cognition, Chia is a genius, and his genius is even more evil than Gon. Tisk tisk, seeing the magician Hisoka, and now Chia, this year's hunter exam will probably be the most exciting ever. Lan Fei smacked his lips. Ring ring ring. Suddenly, at this moment, a hurried bell rang. Rumble. Immediately afterwards, a wall slowly vibrated, and then slowly rose like a gate wall. In an instant, a dimly lit passage appeared in front of everyone. At the front of the passage, there was a middle-aged man with silver hair standing in a suit. This is Examiner. Gon was instantly excited. Are you going to start? Lan Fei's eyes lit up suddenly. Wow. Soon, the eyes of hundreds of people were all focused on this silver-haired middle-aged man. Chapter 16 Physical Strength Competition, Cruel Knockout Match Seeking Flower Evaluation. Sorry for keeping everyone waiting. The registration period for this hunter exam is just over, so the hunter exam will start next. The silver-haired, middle-aged man glanced at the hundreds of alternate hunter members from all over the country. His sonorous voice instantly caused a commotion. It's finally started. No. 44 Chia hugged the scooter and looked at the examiner with a calm face. Jia, this year's exam should be much more exciting than last year's. I don't know, who will be the first to fall in my hands. Magician Hisoka licked the corner of his mouth. It is finally confirmed that those who have bad luck or poor strength in this round of exams will cause serious injuries, and the worst end may lose their lives. Even so, if you persist in taking the exam, please follow me. If you want to give up, then leave the exam venue as soon as possible from the elevator at the back. The silver-haired examiner waved his hand. Hearing this, hundreds of alternate hunters were indifferent, all of them had fighting spirit in their eyes. Very good, there are 404 candidates in the first round of exams, and all of them will participate. The silver-haired examiner squinted his eyes. Only 404. Lan Fei pouted. More than 1 million people participated. That's all. Gon was also puzzled. Next, just follow me. The silver white-haired examiner touched the curved beard at the corner of his mouth, then spread his feet and hands, and walked towards the passage behind him step by step with an unbelievable pace. Behind him, all 404 candidates followed with vigilance. By the way, I am the examiner of the first round of examinations. My name is Sachi. Now I'm going to take everyone to the venue for the second round of exams. Satsuki said calmly. The venue for the second round of exams. What about the first round of exams? Someone shouted. The first round of exams has already started. Follow me to the venue of the second round of exams. This is the task for this time. Sachi said lightly. What the hell, is it that simple? Easy. This is just the beginning. Yeah, no one knows what will happen next, everyone should be careful. An examiner who can be an examiner for the hunter exam is definitely not easy, and the difficulty of the exam should not be too small. Immediately, there were hundreds of people discussing in the dimly lit passage. Interesting. Lan Fei grinned, glanced at Gon beside him, and said, Gon, follow me, don't get lost. Understood. Gon nodded. Just follow him all the time. What a strange question. The time and place didn't tell us, this round of exams shouldn't be that simple. Kurapika began to trot, because the speed of the examiner Sachi was increasing. Is it testing our endurance and willpower? Lirio also opened his long legs and began to trot. Follow him aimlessly, everyone must maintain their strength. At this time, Lan Fei reminded. In terms of physical strength, endurance, and willpower, Lan Fei can say with certainty that among the 404 members, none of them has physical strength comparable to his own, not even the magician Hisoka. After all, under his own devil-style training, he can already fully open the full-level Bamen Dunjia. This kind of physical strength is beyond the reach of ordinary people. After an hour, the 404 members who were originally following the examiner Sachi soon lost their hold and left the team. Gon, are you okay? Lan Fei looked very relaxed, glanced at Gon beside him, and then at Kurapika and Lirio who were following behind. It's okay, I still have some physical strength. Gon nodded. Although he said so, his breathing gradually became short. During these years on Whale Island, although he has been exercising, he is not as desperate as Lan Fei. Naturally, he is not as good as Lan Fei in terms of physical strength, but he is indeed much better than others. Lirio, although you have long legs, your physical strength is a bit weak. Kurapika on the side glanced at Lirio and reminded. I underestimated the hunter exam. All of them are not easy. If I had known earlier, I would have been prepared to come. Lirio was holding the briefcase and breathing heavily, his forehead was covered with sweat. Call. Suddenly, a gust of wind whizzed past Lirio, and I saw number 44 Chia standing on the scooter, skating at a constant speed. This scene instantly angered Lirio. Little devil, stop. Are you a foul? Lirio was a little dissatisfied. Why? Chia stared at Lirio as if looking at a fool. This round of exams tests everyone's stamina. You're opportunistic. Lirio couldn't help complaining, because he was already exhausted. Seeing Chia gliding on the scooter so easily, let alone how envious and jealous he was. Lirio, he didn't foul. At this time, Lan Fei slowly slowed down, and when Lirio approached, he continued. The examiner only said to follow him, and did not say that it is forbidden to use any method to drive. Lan Fei is right, Lirio, you underestimate the hunter exam too. Gon also caught up. Gon, why even you say that? Lirio gritted his teeth, the veins popping out on his forehead. Okay. Glancing at Gon and then at Lan Fei, Chia couldn't help being curious. You guys, how old are you this year? I'm 12 years old. Gon blinked. I'm 13. Lan Fei said lightly. This, one is the same age as me, and the other is only 1 year older than me. Chia was a little surprised. Originally, he thought that he was the youngest in this year's hunter exam, but he didn't expect that there were people around his age. Forget it, I'll run with you. Chia jumped up. The scooter under his feet slowly flew into the air, and then he embraced him. Hello, my name is Chia. I am 12 years old this year. Chia, you are the same age as me. My name is Gon. Gon was a little excited. Zoldyck family, Chia. My name is Lan Fei. Lan Fei stared at Chia with a half smile. What, you? Hearing Lan Fei's words, Chia's face remained unchanged. This boy who is only 1 year older than himself actually knows his family identity. You know, the Zoldyck family is a family of killers, few people know about it, but the 13-year-old boy in front of him knows it, it seems not easy. The Zoldyck family. Kurapika at the side also heard Lan Fei's words, he stared at Chia tightly, his eyes tightened involuntarily. Gon, on the other hand, was surprised by the Zoldyck family that Lan Fei was talking about, but he didn't pursue it. Let's catch up quickly. The examiner is getting farther and farther away from us, and there are many people behind who can't keep up. Lan Fei reminded, continue to speed up the pace. Chapter 17 The Examiner's Shock, the most perverted examinee open black lens bracket seeking flowers for evaluation close black lens bracket. Hey, wait for me. Seeing Lan Fei, Kurapika and others quickened their pace to chase the examiner Sachi, and Lirio, who was behind, couldn't hold on anymore. Boom. As soon as the words fell, the briefcase in Lirio's hand fell directly to the ground, and Lirio himself was breathing heavily, obviously exhausted to the limit. Thump. Lirio helped the glasses frame, his vision had become blurred, he couldn't stand still, and he half kneeled on the ground. Lirio. Gon couldn't bear it. What, you want to help him? Chia at the side frowned. Lirio, don't forget your goal, don't forget the purpose of taking the hunter exam. Have you been defeated before reaching the finish line? Lan Fei turned around, looked at Lirio who was half kneeling on the ground, and reminded loudly. How could I lose so easily? I cannot. Hearing Lan Fei's reminder, Lirio took off his suit as if taking drugs, exposing his strong arms, and then rushed forward like crazy. From the beginning to now, we should have run almost 60 kilometers. How long are we going to run? Seeing that the potential in Lirio's body was awakened again, Kurapika did not dare to neglect, and speeded up to catch up. Look, it's the uphill road. Examiner Sachi's speed is accelerating, and it should be almost to the end. Gone, Lan Fei, how about the three of us compete to see who can reach the finish line first? Whoever loses, please eat. At this time, HxH, who was bored in every way, suggested. Okay, anyway, I don't feel tired at all. By the way HxH, why are you taking the hunter exam? Gon asked. Why, I don't really want to be hunter. HxH smiled bitterly and shook his head. The reason why I came to participate is because I heard that the hunter exam is very difficult, so I wanted to challenge it. Who knew it would be so boring? Gon was startled, not knowing what to say. HxH, a lover, didn't intend to become a hunter, and she didn't seem to care about the name of hunter. HxH, with the strength of your family, it doesn't matter if you become hunter or not. Lan Fei said meaningfully. Indeed, Zoldyck is originally a family of killers. HxH has cultivated a lot of killing skills since he was a child, and his strength is not weak. The family network is also very large. All members of the family are as terrifying as monsters. Hunter. Since you are here, let's challenge it. HxH shrugged. Lan Fei, HxH, let's get started. Whoosh. As soon as HxH finished speaking, Gon stepped on his foot. With extremely fast speed, he took the lead in chasing after the examiner Saci. Gon, aren't you too dark? HxH shouted in dissatisfaction, and with both feet exerted strength, she chased after Gon. Compare speed with me. Lan Fei shook his head. In terms of speed, let alone Gon and HxH, even the examiner Sachi might not be his opponent. 8-foot mirror. Lan Fei raised his hand. The golden light was condensed, and then turned into dazzling golden lights refracted out, which looked particularly distant in the dim passage, and reached the examiner Saci's head in an instant. This is golden light. What's going on? Am I dazzled? The boy's figure turned into golden light. My god, what kind of monster is this? Turn into golden light with your body. Has the speed of light. Immediately, many of the examinees who followed closely behind widened their eyes, staring at the continuously refracted golden light with disbelief on their faces. Okay. The magician Hisoka also noticed the golden light refracted towards the examiner Sachi, and his face became serious. What method is this? Hisoka was puzzled. The speed of light. Lan Fei, you are a bit unkind. Seeing Lan Fei's figure turned into a refracted golden light, Gon was very dissatisfied. This guy, the speed of light, is he really just a 13-year-old boy? HxH's eyes widened, full of shock. As a member of the Zoldyck family, HxH has been cultivating killer skills since he was a child. He has seen too many strange things and too many powerful people, so he naturally knows what the speed of light means. In the entire Zoldyck family, only his grandfather can do this step, and even if he did this step, it was due to Nen, not his own speed. Look, the end point has appeared. At this time, Gon sped up again, and many people who were running in front of him also fell on the steps at this moment. End. HxH nodded. At the end of the passage, finally a bright exit could be seen. It's an exit. Everyone work harder. Soon, someone also discovered that there was an exit at the end of the ramp, and there was a bright light coming in from the exit. This shout instantly aroused everyone's hope. Everyone quickened their pace and ran towards the exit with excited faces. The exit is here, so how many people are left here? Examiner Sachi said to himself. Buzz. Suddenly, a golden light passed over Sachi's head, and then burst towards the exit. What happened? Sachi frowned, and quickened his pace a little. Whizzing. At the moment Sachi arrived at the exit, two figures also arrived at the exit. It was Gon and HxH. Gon, HxH, I won. In the dazzling golden light, Lan Fei's figure slowly gathered. At this scene, even the well-informed examiner Saci couldn't help being shocked, and stared at Lan Fei incredulously. How could anyone be faster than him, the examiner? Arrive at the exit first. Moreover, a 13-year-old boy. Most importantly, can this boy transform into golden light? Has the same speed as light? Isn't this too perverted? Definitely one of the most perverted candidates taking the hunter exam this year. Chapter 18 Losing the Merle Wetland. Hisoka made a move. Open black lens bracket seeking flower evaluation. Close black lens bracket. Please ask for a flower and an evaluation ticket from everyone. Lan Fei, are you too perverted? I will never compete with you next time. Seeing that Lan Fei arrived at the exit one step ahead of the examiner Sachi, Gon couldn't help curling his lips. Lan Fei, at your speed of light, who is your opponent? HxH hugged the scooter and shook her head with a wry smile. I don't care, I won anyway. Both of you are going to invite me to dinner. Lan Fei grinned. Change into light, and still have the speed of light, little guy, you are really perverted. Sachi took a deep look at Lan Fei. Although he is the examiner of this round, Sachi has to admit that he is not as good as Lan Fei in terms of speed. Thank you for the compliment. Lan Fei cupped his fists very politely. Whoosh whoosh. At this moment, figures also rushed to the exit. Most of these people are old people who have taken the hunter exam, and a few are newcomers. After all, from the beginning to the present, everyone has run nearly 80 kilometers without a break in the middle, and ordinary newcomers really can't hold on. Finally reached the exit. Yeah, it's been running for 4 or 5 hours, right? Fortunately, my physical strength is good, otherwise I will be eliminated. As this round a marathon run. Immediately, many people who arrived at the exit began to chat. Many of them were breathing heavily, and some even sat on the ground with pale faces and almost dehydrated. Only the magician Hisoka, his eyes locked tightly, stared at Lan Fei like a poisonous snake. Because the speed shown by Lan Fei is too weird, it can change into light, and has the same speed as light, so he has a lot of interest in Lan Fei. Sensing the malicious gaze of the magician Hisoka, Lan Fei smiled slightly, but didn't pay much attention. With a full level 8 Door Dunjia and devouring the shiny fruit, there is nothing to be afraid of Hisoka, and Lan Fei is confident that he can fight against Hisoka at his peak. This kid. Seeing Lan Fei throwing a calm smile on his face, Hisoka couldn't help squinting, and the smile on his face grew stronger. It has to be said that Lan Fei has already aroused the desire in Hisoka's heart. Lan Fei. Gone. At this time, Kurapika also came out of the passage. His breathing was fairly regular and he didn't feel uncomfortable. Kurapika. Gon waved his hand excitedly. Wait for me. Maid, I'm exhausted. Where is this a hunter exam? Oh, this is a marathon, right? Behind Kurapika, Lirio was bare-armed, complaining, breathing heavily and rapidly. The whole person couldn't stand still, and sat down on the ground directly. His face was quite pale at the moment, and his forehead was covered with sweat. It was obvious that he had suffered from a lot of exhaustion along the way. Lirio. Seeing that Lirio had also arrived at the exit, Gon also waved to Lirio. Where is this place? Seeing that Lirio also arrived at the exit safely, Kurapika looked forward, and there was a wetland in front of him, filled with mist everywhere. Occasionally birds came out of the shower, and the voices of many strange creatures came from the depths of the wetland. No way. Isn't this the venue for the second round of exams? Maid, you ran almost 80 kilometers, but you didn't even see the second round of exam venue. The first round of exams isn't over yet. What the hell is this place? Isn't it going to cross this wetland? Marathon again. All the people who had recovered from God looked forward one after another, and they could vaguely see some vision in the mist. When everyone reacted, the examiner Sachi spoke slowly. Everyone, welcome to the wetlands of Losmolo, also known as the Trickster's Lair. Of course, this is also the only way to the second hunter exam, which is the second stage of this round of exams. Please follow me carefully, don't fall behind. Those who fall behind, or those who are deceived, will die. Sachi glanced at the sluggish crowd. Tricked, will die. Is it that serious? Soon, someone cried out in dissatisfaction. The hidden creatures in the wetlands will use various methods to deceive their prey and finally eat them. Cheating prey and eating it is the ecosystem of living species here, so this place is called the Lair of Scammers. A total of 368 people have arrived here. I hope that all of you will be alive and well when you arrive at the venue for the second exam. Saucy put his arms around his chest and glanced at everyone. Don't be fooled, everyone. Suddenly, at the corner of the exit, a man in purple clothes and covered in scars limped out, pointed at Saucy and shouted, "He is a fake, he is not an examiner, he is a counterfeit." What? The sudden change made everyone panic, and everyone was at a loss. Everyone, don't be fooled by him, I am the real examiner. Look, this is the man-faced ape breathing in the Chimera wetland. This kind of creature loves to eat fresh human flesh, but their hands and feet are slender and their strength is quite weak. They can easily pretend to be humans and deceive humans with words. Come to this swamp, join forces with other creatures, and eat all who are brought here. The man covered in scars said excitedly, and stretched out his hand to pull out a man-faced ape at the corner. This is very similar to the examiner, Mr. Sachi. Suddenly, Gon exclaimed, Gon, calm down. The examiner is real. Lan Fei said lightly. But, Gon looked at the ape, then at Sat. Gon still couldn't tell. Didn't he say that the ape is weak? The examiner ran nearly 80 kilometers like us, and the courier has always been ahead, and nothing happened. Is he weak? Lan Fei stared at the man covered in scars with a half smile. Yes, this guy must have lied to us. The examiner was the one we met when we arrived at the first round of exams, so it can't be a fake. Hearing Lan Fei's words, although many people had doubts, most people still chose to believe. Although they look similar, it can be seen from some details that the examiner cannot be a fake. The most delicate Kurapika also spoke. This guy should have been transformed from a human-faced ape, trying to disturb everyone's mentality. Let me unravel his identity for everyone. Lan Fei sneered. Shish. Suddenly, just when Lan Fei was about to use the ability of the sparkling fruit and directly kick the scarred man at the speed of light at close range, the magician Hisoka took the lead. I saw playing cards flying out of Hisoka's hands, piercing the air like sharp knives, and piercing deeply through the scarred man. Chapter 19 Danger and Conspiracy Open black lens bracket seeking flower evaluation close black lens bracket. Today, I have a small explosion, and I ask everyone for a flower and an evaluation ticket to support. Seeing this scene, everyone stared at the magician Hisoka in shock, and saw the magician Hisoka calmly playing with the poker cards in his hand, and the scarred man who was pierced by the poker card also stared at the crowd. Slowly fell to the ground in his eyes. Magician Hisoka, this guy is finally going to do something. Tonpa swallowed. Shish. Hisoka ignored the shocked crowd, and the poker cards in his hand flew out again, and this time the target was the examiner Sachi. Is he crazy? How dare you attack the examiner? Kurapika was taken aback. This guy is so ruthless that even the examiner won't let him go. Chiya narrowed her eyes. No, this guy is testing the examiner's strength. Of course, it's also testing the authenticity of the examiner, to prove it for everyone. Lan Fei said lightly. Saucy was unmoved when he saw the poker cards flying through at a very high speed. He raised his hand slightly, and the poker cards that could cut even the air were easily caught by his fingertips. The examiner is real. After seeing the strength displayed by Sa Si, everyone instantly came back to their senses. Chirp chirp. Suddenly, the man-faced ape who was lying next to the dead man covered in scars suddenly woke up, and then jumped up high with a frightened face, bouncing and disappearing into the depths of the wetland with the aid of the hazy mist. Cuckoo. At the same time, several huge vultures flew down slowly, and began to feast on the corpse of the man covered in scars. Seeing this scene, someone couldn't help but exclaimed, "Look, this guy turned out to be a human-faced ape." Wow. In an instant, everyone's eyes were focused on the corpse of the man covered in scars. For all this, Lan Fei has known for a long time. He wanted to prove it for everyone, but the magician Hisoka made the move first. Everyone. At this time, Hisoka's voice once again shifted everyone's attention to him. The so-called examiner is a hunter entrusted by the review committee to serve for free. Although it is far from the hunter we have become, my attack should not be as for not being able to prevent it. Just pretend you're complimenting me. However, no matter what the reason is next time, attacking me will be regarded as a disobedience to the examiner, and I will be eliminated immediately, you understand? Saji put his hands behind his back and stared at Hisoka calmly. Understood, I'm not going to prove it for everyone. Hisoka spread his hands, a wicked smile appeared on his face. This guy is really an examiner, but I think it's too simple. Lirio gritted his teeth after recovering a little physical strength. His brain was not working well, and because his physical strength was exhausted infinitely, he couldn't help feeling dissatisfied with the examiner Sachi. Listen well, this is the phenomenon of deception that often occurs in this lair of fraudsters. Some of you were also deceived just now, and you are starting to doubt my identity. Saci put his hands behind his back and walked to the front of the crowd step by step. I'm not too excited. Lirio scratched his head embarrassedly. This guy has been out of his mind. If he hadn't had a good partner, it would have been difficult for him to pass the hunter exam. Lan Fei looked at Lirio helplessly. Of course, this is just the beginning. The fog in this wetland is very thick. As long as you lose me halfway, you probably won't have the chance to reach the second exam venue. Let's go. Please follow me. Sachi said indifferently, stretching out his hands and feet again. The speed was much faster than in the first stage, and stepped into the hazy mist. Behind them, everyone ran to keep up, while alerting their surroundings. Hey, it's a marathon again. My physical strength is almost at the limit. Lirio complained after running a few steps. It's even worse this time. This is a wetland, and the physical strength will be consumed faster. Kurapika reminded, this physical exertion is not a big problem for me. I'm afraid that unknown creatures will appear on the way. Chia followed behind Lan Fei, his nerves tensed up. This is his inherent vigilance as a killer. This physical exertion is not worth mentioning compared to my previous devil-style exercise. Lan Fei shrugged. You know, in order to practice Bamen Dunjia, he would go on super extreme devil-style running every day. He didn't struggle at all with this marathon-style physical fitness test. Gradually, everyone followed closely behind Sa Si and stepped into the deepest part of the wetland. The fog here became thicker. Although the distance was only 4 or 5 meters away, the vision was gradually blurred. Very well, the opportunity has come. At this time, many old fritters who have taken the hunter exam several times began to move around. Although it is dangerous here, it is also a rare opportunity. As long as others are eliminated, the chance of success will be greatly increased. Taking advantage of the current thick fog, kill that guy. Among the candidates shrouded in dense fog, candidate number 76 stared at the magician Hisoka running ahead of him, and beside him were two brothers who took the hunter exam together. One was number 69 and the other was number 70. Okay. Seemingly aware that the atmosphere was not right, Chia looked at Gon beside him. Let's speed up our pace and try to stay away from the magician Hisoka. Why, are you afraid of him too? Lan Fei glanced at Chia. I'm afraid of being affected by him. If you get too close to him, I'm afraid you will suffer. Chia reminded. Lan Fei, let's just listen to Chia. Kurapika, Lirio, hurry up. Speed up. Gon blinked at Lan Fei, then turned his head to look at Kurapika and Lirio who were 4 or 5 meters behind him. Big idiot, if I ran fast, I would have already run ahead. Lirio gritted his teeth and shouted loudly. Gon, leave us alone. Kurapika's voice also came through the thick fog. Forget it, let's go first. Although I'm not afraid of Hisoka, for the sake of Gon, let's try to provoke him as little as possible. Lan Fei glanced at the magician Hisoka not far away from his corner of the eye. After all, when he left Whale Island, Mito Aunt told him to protect Gon. Lirio, can you still speed up? The fog is so thick that I don't know where to go. Seeing the three of Lan Fei disappear into the thick fog, Kurapika was a little worried. It doesn't matter, as long as we follow the shadow of the person in front. Lirio adjusted the glass's frame. Puff puff puff. Suddenly, as soon as Lirio finished speaking, he saw 5 vague figures running in front of him. Their heads fell for no reason, and their bodies also fell heavily on the wet ground. In an instant, the corpses were separated. What happened? Lirio's pupils shrank sharply, and his voice became sharper. Chapter 20 Hisoka is going to do something to Kurapika and Lirio open black lens bracket flower evaluation close black lens bracket. There is danger ahead, be careful. We may have fallen out of the team. Kurapika frowned and became calm for a moment. Damn it, the fog is too heavy, and I can't see clearly at all. I don't know if the figure in front of me is the change of those strange creatures in the wetland. Lirio gritted his teeth. What? Suddenly, just as Lirio and Kurapika stopped, a candidate passed by them without noticing what had happened before, and the screams came quickly. In the mist, a gigantic monster appeared in front of him. It was the Y strawberry turtle, in the depths of the wetland. It directly bit the examinee and swallowed it. Seeing this, many candidates who were behind Kurapika and Lirio also stopped in their tracks, staring at the monster in front of them in horror. Lirio, run! Kurapika couldn't take care of that much at the moment, and took the lead in bypassing the Y strawberry turtle, trying to find traces of the person running in the front. Ah! At this time, another candidate screamed and was torn to pieces by the strawberry turtle. Kurapika, wait for me! Lirio was frightened by the horrific sight in front of him, and ran after Kurapika. Boom boom boom. However, when the two walked around one of the strawberry turtles, Kurapika found that they were already surrounded by the strawberry turtles, and the heavy footsteps of the strawberry turtles almost made them unsteady. Run! The other exams who were aware of the danger also fled in panic at this moment. Some people accidentally stepped on the landmine mushroom. This landmine mushroom directly sprayed out poisonous gas like pollen, and many people fell down in an instant. Okay, is this a butterfly? Candidates who escaped the catastrophe quickened their pace and followed carefully behind those veteran candidates who had taken the hunter exam several times, but they were indeed attracted by the butterflies in front of them. Don't want. Suddenly, someone reminded. However, it was still a step too late, and 3 more candidates were bewildered by the hypnotic butterfly. Their consciousness gradually became blurred, and they fell down instantly. Hateful. How can I do? The fog is too thick. I have lost track of the examiner. Seeing the candidates in front and behind falling down one after another, those candidates who were still clear-headed were all desperate at the moment. At the same time, Lan Fei, Gon, and Chiya, who were running in the front, were calm even when they heard the screams coming from all directions. Obviously, their mentality and willpower are much stronger than those of other candidates. Many people should have been eliminated. Chiya spoke first. I don't know what happened to Kurapika and Lirio. I'm really worried. Gon said worriedly. You still worry about yourself. Also, you have to believe in Kurapika's strength, he is not as simple as you think. Lan Fei rolled his eyes at Gon. Be careful. Suddenly, Lan Fei quickly grabbed Gon, turned over and jumped onto a rock 3 meters away. After hearing Lan Fei's cry, Chiya, who was extremely vigilant, also sensed the danger coming, stepped on her foot, jumped into the air, and her figure landed in front of Lan Fei. Boom. At their original feet, a huge lazy frog opened its mouth and sprang out from the ground. Fortunately, the reaction is quick, or it will be swallowed by it. Lan Fei smiled wryly. Okay. At this time, Gon suddenly turned his head to look in a certain direction. Even though the fog was thick, he could smell something unusual at this moment. Don't worry about it so much, hurry up and go. It's still too late to catch up with the examiner. Chiya hugged the scooter and chased it forward without looking back. Gon, let's go. Lan Fei looked away from where Gon was looking. Kurapika and Lirio are in trouble, I can't leave them alone. Lan Fei, you and Chiya go first. Gon gritted his teeth, turned and ran behind. You idiot. Seeing this, Lan Fei shook his head and sighed. Since he agreed to Mito Aunt, he couldn't let Gon alone. Soon, Lan Fei also turned around and chased after Gon. At the same time, on the other side, Kurapika and Lirio escaped from the siege of the strawberry turtle and arrived safely in a foggy clearing. However, just after running here, Lirio stopped again. He adjusted his glasses frame. Although his vision was blurred, he could still vaguely see a few figures not far from the open space. Lirio, what's wrong with you? Kurapika was puzzled. Kurapika, look over there. Lirio swallowed and reminded in a low voice. This is Magician Hisoka. Kurapika was taken aback. Under the blurred vision, there were several figures of candidates, and the Magician Hisoka was surrounded by several figures. Since last year, I have felt that you are not worthy of being a hunter at all. Candidate number 76 headed by held a stick and stared coldly at the Magician Hisoka. As long as you swear that you will never take the hunter exam again, we will let you go. Candidate number 67 also spoke, staring at Hisoka with a fierce look on his face. It has to be said that they underestimated the Magician Hisoka's strength too much. Even if the examiner Sachi came, he might not be Hisoka's opponent. Dare to be the first to provoke, isn't this courting death? Okay, anyway, I will pass the exam this year, so I don't need to take the exam in the future. Hisoka crossed his arms and said calmly, even if he was surrounded by 6 or 7 candidates at the moment, he was not worried at all. Admitted. You idiot, look at the thick fog around you. No matter how hard you try, it will be futile. The examiner has already gone to nowhere. You can't catch up. Of course, we, like you, can only be eliminated here. Candidate number 76 said coldly. Indeed, they have given up now, and since they are going to be eliminated, at least they have to give up. It's a pity that they chose the wrong person and chose the pervert Hisoka. A bunch of self-righteous guys. You are too weak. Hisoka slowly let go of his hands, and a poker card was gently pinched by the fingers of his right hand. Stop talking nonsense. Superior. Candidate number 76 shouted sharply. In an instant, all the candidates who surrounded Hisoka rushed towards Hisoka. Hisoka shook his head, the playing cards on his fingertips lightly pierced the air, and slashed across the rushing candidates in a circular arc. Boom. In an instant, the color of blood drifted across, and along with a strong air current crushed out, the 7 candidates who rushed over all fell to the ground, lifeless. Okay, it's solved. Next, do you want to play this game too? Hisoka turned around, fixed his strange eyes on Kurapika and Lirio not far behind him, and walked towards them step by step. Chapter 21 Hisoka, have you ever been kicked by the speed of light? Open black lens bracket. Seek evaluation of flowers. Close black lens bracket. No, it was discovered. Sensing the dangerous aura emanating from Hisoka, the calm Kurapika also felt a trace of fear at the moment. He looked at Lirio at the side and said with a serious face, Lirio, as soon as I give a signal, we will split up and go to the 2 sides. Run away. What? Lirio gritted his teeth. The difference in actual combat experience between the 2 of us and him is too great. It's a world of difference. Even though we are so far away, I can feel the infinite pressure. We are not his opponent at all. Even if we join forces, we have no chance of winning. Let's escape separately, otherwise we will be caught in one pot. Also, we don't have time to fight him here now, we have to find a way to catch up with Lan Fei, Gon and the others. Kurapika reminded. What? Want to escape? Hisoka walked step by step, his face extremely calm, with a sense of coercion, and he held 2 playing cards in his hands. The invisible pressure made both Kurapika and Lirio extremely nervous, with sweat dripping from their cheeks. It's now. Suddenly, just as Hisoka raised his hand to throw a card, Kurapika yelled loudly. Whizzing. In an instant, the 2 rushed out in opposite directions at the same time, and with the help of the thick fog, they disappeared from Hisoka's sight. Oh, what a smart choice. Seeing the 2 of Kurapika fleeing in opposite directions, Hisoka licked the corner of his mouth and showed an appreciative smile. However, just as Hisoka was about to turn around and leave, a figure slowly walked out of the thick fog. Okay. Hisoka was slightly surprised, but after a closer look, it turned out to be Lirio who had escaped and returned. Are you coming back to die? Hisoka played with the cards in his hand. You want me to escape? It's impossible after all. Even if it's not someone else's intentional fault, but if I want to run away without doing anything, I can't do it. I saw Lirio coming out of the thick fog, holding a stick tightly in his hand, and rushed towards Hisoka suddenly. Lirio, are you crazy? Kurapika, who fled in the opposite direction, shouted loudly. Is this going back to give away the head? Isn't this guy's brain short-circuited? Tisk tisk. You have courage, and you have a fierce expression. With his left hand on his hip, Hisoka played poker cards with his right hand, watching Lirio rushing towards him calmly, and when Lirio hit him with a stick, his figure disappeared like mist. Of course, it didn't really turn into fog, but the surrounding fog was too thick, and Hisoka's speed was too fast. With just one sideways movement, he avoided Lirio's blow, as if the fog had dispersed. Elusive. Overreach. Hisoka leaned sideways behind Lirio, then raised his hand. The poker was like a sharp blade, wanting to give Lirio a fatal blow. And Lirio seemed to feel the approach of death at this moment. He turned his head involuntarily, his eyes widened, and he stared at Hisoka holding the poker cards in shock. Phew. Just at this critical moment, a fishhook pierced through the thick fog and swung towards Hisoka with lightning speed, fast and accurate, and hit Hisoka hard on the forehead, causing his figure to stand still for a moment. Seeing this, Lirio's figure flashed past and jumped 5 meters away in an instant. Gone. Seeing the figure who came to save him, Lirio breathed heavily, feeling incredible. Lirio, why are you always so brainless? We are about to catch up with the examiner, and Gon insists on turning back to save you, so can't you follow us with peace of mind? At this time, Lan Fei's voice came from behind Gon, and he walked out of the thick fog, staring at Hisoka with a serious face. If it weren't for Gon's quick shot, Lirio might have to explain here. Moreover, now that Hisoka has been messed with, the troubles ahead will not be small. Fortunately, we caught up. Lirio, come here. Gon waved to Lirio. Huh, little brother, your skills are really good. Is that your fishing rod? What an interesting weapon. Hisoka turned around and walked towards Gon step by step. Gon, this guy is very assertive, you are no match for him. Seeing Hisoka approaching, Lan Fei took a step forward, keeping Gon behind him. A-hole, your opponent is me, Gon, Lan Fei, run away. Lirio shouted angrily, grabbed the stick again, and rushed towards Hisoka. I really don't know how to live or die. Hisoka's eyes froze, his figure disappeared like smoke, and he appeared in front of Lirio in the next second, and the poker in his hand was swiped against Lirio's neck. Lirio. Seeing this, Gon couldn't help but exclaimed. Laser rays. At this juncture of life and death, Lan Fei raised his hand, and a golden light condensed from his fingertips, piercing towards Hisoka. Boom. In an instant, the golden light illuminated the foggy wetland, and Hisoka's figure stood still in place. The playing cards in his hand were instantly penetrated by the golden light, and Lirio took advantage of this short-term change to move towards Gon. Jumped over. Golden light. Hisoka's complexion changed, and he turned to look at Lan Fei, with a flash of coldness and murderous intent in his eyes. Little guy, your method is a bit weird, not only is it fast, but also has such a strong attack power. Hisoka, have you ever been kicked by the speed of light? Sensing the killing intent in Hisoka's eyes, Lan Fei didn't panic in the slightest, but grinned lightly at the corners of his mouth, and his smile deepened. Kicked by the speed of light. Hisoka licked the corner of his mouth, showing a wicked smile. I didn't expect that such a little monster like you would appear in this year's Hunter exam. It's interesting, really interesting. Buzz. As soon as Hisoka finished speaking, Lan Fei's figure suddenly disappeared in place. In the next second, a golden light condensed on the top of Hisoka's head, and Lan Fei raised his foot and kicked Hisoka hard. So fast. Hisoka's pupils shrank, and his face suddenly changed. Chapter 22 Hisoka eyes on Lan Fei and arrives at the second exam venue, seeking flower evaluation. For Gon, Kurapika, and Lirio, the three rookies taking the Hunter exam, Hisoka's speed is terrifying. However, Lan Fei's speed is also terrifying in front of Hisoka. After all, Lan Fei devoured the shiny fruit, he is the embodiment of the speed of light. Hisoka didn't have time to react, so he stretched out his hand to block it. Boom. For a moment, Hisoka felt a strong force, his hands went numb, and he flew upside down, smashing into the dense fog. Lan Fei, good job. Gon cried out excitedly. This guy. Although it was not the first time to see Lan Fei make a move, Lirio was still taken aback. Gon, Lirio, let's catch up with the examiner. The magician Hisoka is a big pervert. In order to pass the first exam safely, it is best not to provoke him again. Lan Fei glared at Lirio fiercely. Although he was not afraid of Hisoka, a big pervert, he didn't want to fight him here and lose both sides, and he might not necessarily be able to defeat Hisoka. It is good. Lirio, don't be so impulsive in the future. If Lan Fei and I didn't arrive in time, you might be killed by him. Gon glanced at Lirio and shook his head helplessly. Lan Fei, thank you. Lirio also realized that he was being reckless. Whoosh whoosh. Soon, the three chased after the examiner. Tisk tisk. A kid with the speed of light is really scary. In the thick fog in the distance, Hisoka patted the dirt on his body, and after Lan Fei kicked at the speed of light, he did not suffer too much damage with the help of Nen, only his hands were numb, leaving only skin trauma. Beep beep beep. Hisoka, you're almost back to the team too. It looks like we'll be at the second exam venue soon. At the same time, the pager in Hisoka's arms slowly rang. Understood, I will go there immediately. This year's Hunter exam, there is an interesting little guy, I really want to have a fight with him. Hisoka laughed bitterly. Oh, it should be the little guy who can cast the speed of light, I noticed it too. However, you should return to the team first, there will be opportunities in the future. A deep voice came from the pager again. After hanging up the pager, Hisoka turned around slowly and disappeared into the thick fog. On the other side, many people have already arrived at the gate of the second exam venue. HxH is no exception. Strange, where did Gon and Lan Fei go? HxH looked around, but among the many figures, he didn't find Gon and Lan Fei. And when HxH was looking for Gon and Lan Fei, not far in front of him was an extremely ugly man in green clothes who was slowly putting away the pager in his hand. He is the big pervert other than Hisoka in this year's Hunter exam, Jita Laiku. Of course, Jita Laiku is just his pseudonym, his real name is Illumi Zoldyck, this person is HxH's eldest brother, he is good at disguise, and his strength is quite abnormal. Okay. Standing at the gate, the examiner Sachi also slowly raised his hand, looked at the clock on his wrist, and then glanced at the winding path in the distance. There are still many candidates on the path who are still short of the distance to the second exam venue. It fell down at 100 meters. But at this moment, in the thick fog of the wetland, the four figures are also chasing at a high speed. The leader is none other than Gon. Lan Fei really admires Gon's sense of smell, maybe it's an innate talent. Even though he had left the team, Gon was still able to catch up with the examiner along the path he walked by relying on the smell of the examiner. As for Kurapika, when he saw Lirio returning to fight Hisoka, he also stopped running away and turned to join Lan Fei and Gon. By the way, Lan Fei, will Hisoka hold grudges? After all, you kicked him hard enough. Although I also don't think Hisoka has the qualifications to be a hunter, but his extraordinary means and gorgeous moves make me have to agree with his strength. If it weren't for you, we would have been killed by him. Kurapika took a deep breath, he still had lingering fears about the previous conflict with Hisoka. Don't worry, Hisoka is a big pervert, but he has a big measure. Besides, he should only be interested in me now. In the next exam, he shouldn't make a move on you. Lan Fei comforted. For Hisoka, Lan Fei still has a certain understanding. This person is sometimes cruel, sometimes very special, and his changeable personality makes it difficult to fathom. Although it was Lirio who got into trouble this time, and I was afraid of Hisoka's strength and even wanted to flee the scene, I was still very excited. Perhaps, only when we meet a strong player like Hisoka can we make better progress and become stronger. Gon's eyes burst into a look of determination that he had never seen before. Although Hisoka is a big pervert, we, Lan Fei, are not simple either. Being able to kick him into the air with one kick, and possessing the speed of light, is definitely the best among all candidates this year. Lirio looked at Lan Fei with envy on his face. As long as you practice hard, you will have strength like me in the future. Lan Fei nodded with a smile. Finally out of the wetlands. After running for an unknown amount of time, Gon couldn't help jumping up excitedly when he saw the thick fog disappearing. Obviously, he was going in the right direction. Look, there they are. Examiner Sachi is also here. Suddenly, Lirio looked into the distance, and seeing the crowd gathered at the gate of the second exam venue, Lirio couldn't help but get excited. It seems that we are still catching up. Kurapika nodded. Okay. When the four of them walked to the gate of the second exam venue, Lan Fei noticed Hisoka leaning against a big tree, and his brows frowned. As if feeling Lan Fei's gaze, Hisoka folded his arms around his chest, looked at each other, and then licked the corner of his mouth, revealing a meaningful smile. Lan Fei. Gone. At this moment, HxH interrupted Lan Fei's gaze and ran towards them. Where have you been? I thought you were all late. Excuse me. There was a small episode in the middle, and I turned back with gone. Lan Fei said embarrassedly. It's really not reassuring. Fortunately, you reached the finish line safely. HxH patted his forehead. Everyone in the exam, you have worked hard all the way. This Biscayne Deep Forest Park is the venue for the second exam. Then, I will take my leave first. I hope everyone can pass the second exam smoothly. Just as everyone was resting, HxH, who was standing at the gate, waved to all the candidates, then turned around and disappeared from everyone's sight. Chapter 23. Two examiners, Gourmet Hunter, seeking flower evaluation. Rumble. Just as HxH left the entrance, the gate behind everyone slowly opened, and a huge tall building came into view. In front of the tall building, two figures appeared, one was an obese man and the other was a petite and slender woman. The slender and petite woman sat on a sofa that was not too big, while the fat man sat on the ground, right behind the petite woman. Candidates who have successfully passed the first exam, please enter. Welcome here, I'm the examiner for the second exam, Menchi. The petite woman put her hands on the sofa, and because she was on the steps, she gave off a condescending domineering air. I'm the examiner Buhok, the fat man said with a smile. There are actually two examiners in the second exam. Gon was slightly surprised, and walked towards the gate. I really hope that the second exam will have a certain degree of difficulty, otherwise, it will be too boring. HxH secretly thought, following closely behind Gon step by step. One fat and one thin. Lan Fei smacked her lips, and the corners of her mouth rose slightly. This female examiner's figure is really not lazy, she is slender, and her clothes are refreshing and sexy, and ordinary men really can't resist. After a while, all the candidates walked through the gate and stopped in front of the female examiner Menchi. Female examiner. Lirio adjusted his glasses and became interested instantly. Gululu. Just when the eyes of all the candidates were focused on the female examiner in front of them, an abrupt voice echoed in everyone's ears. What sound? The fastest responder was HxH, his vigilance was the best among all candidates. The fat man is hungry. Lan Fei said lightly. Lan Fei, that person is an examiner, please be respectful. Kurapika reminded. Are you too hungry? Just when all the candidates were wondering where the voice came from, Menchi turned to look at the fat man behind him and asked. Well, I'm so hungry that I'm dizzy. Buhaji stretched listlessly. That's about to begin. Everyone, the topic of the second exam is cooking. Menchi stood up directly, with his hands on his hips, showing a meaningful smile. What? Cooking? What the hell kind of topic is this? Hey, we're here to take the hunter exam. You let us cook. Is this the hunter exam, or the chef exam? Many candidates raised doubts. You know, they have gone through the first round of long-distance journeys and trials of life and death before arriving at the venue for the second exam. Now you tell us that the content of the second exam is cooking, who can accept it? Cooking. Gon shook his head, I'm not good at this. I should be reluctant. Lan Fei shook his head with a wry smile. Why cooking? Lirio, who was still full of curiosity about Menchi, the female examiner, also raised his finger at her at this moment. Because we're both food hunters. Menchi said proudly. Menchi and Bobby, I didn't expect the review committee to find these two such tricky gourmet hunters as examiners. At this moment, HxH, the examiner who had already left, was standing on a towering giant tree with a telescope in his hand, looking at everything that happened in the Biscayne Deep Forest Park. I think that after the second round of exams, there may be less than 50 people left. Of course, if the difficulty factor of the exam questions is high, I'm afraid there will be less than 10 people. Sachi slowly put down the binoculars in his hand, and said to himself. Menchi examiner, what kind of food do you want us to cook? Candidate number 255 with a strong figure stared at the female examiner with a half smile. Buha Thorn, it's your turn to ask questions. Menchi said lightly, the specified ingredient is pig. Buhaji stood up slowly, his fat body made everyone's feet tremble. Pig. Suddenly, everyone was puzzled. Only Lan Fei felt no pressure at all. After all, he's the only one who knows. As long as it lives in the Biscayne Deep Forest Park, there is no limit to the species. The pig's cot can use the existing utensils and ingredients in the yard to make delicious dishes. If the taste of the cooking can be approved by Menchi and I, this round of exams will be considered as a pass. Buha stabbed a glance at the crowd. Deliciousness is the most important thing. Of course, it also depends on the appearance. Don't underestimate the food. Folding his arms around his chest, Menchi continued, when we can't eat anymore, the exam will be over. Okay. It means that the cooking must be delicious and fast. Otherwise, once the two examiners can't eat anymore, even if the cooking is completed later, it will be considered a failure. The thoughtful Kurapika instantly thought of the pros and cons of this exam. That's right. The sooner you can make it, the better, and it must be delicious. Lan Fei nodded. Ding. At this moment, as soon as Lan Fei finished speaking, the intelligent voice of the system came from his mind. Congratulations to the host, successfully passed the first round of exams. According to the previous agreement, you can get a reward every time you pass the exam. The reward is random, it may be nen suitable for the host's characteristics, or it may be other useless rewards. Of course, the host can also make their own rewards and make them the nen they want most. However, once they make their own rewards, the system will no longer appear in the future. The system reminded. Oh, if you don't remind me, I almost forgot. Lan Fei nodded. Is it better to reward randomly, or to formulate rewards? If you want to formulate rewards, the system will not appear again in the future. Of course, if you make your own rewards, you can stand at the top of this world with the help of powerful nen, sparkling fruits, and Bamen Dunjia. However, Lan Fei still hesitated. After all, there is still a dark continent in this world, and there are perverted existences like the Ant King. If the system does not reappear in the future, can he beat the Ant King and the monsters in the dark continent? Forget it, I'm just getting started now, and I just passed the first round of hunter exams, so I'm not in a hurry to practice nen. After all, I have a full level 8 Door Dunjia, and a shiny fruit, and I still have the ability to protect myself for the time being. Lan Fei thought to himself. Random reward. After thinking for a while, Lan Fei directly transmitted the sound to the system. Chapter 24. Inheritance of Little Master's Culinary Skills, the only candidate who passed open black lens bracket seeking flower evaluation close black lens bracket. Ding. Random rewards are being drawn. 10, 9, 8, 1, 0. Congratulations to the host, you have obtained the culinary inheritance of the master chef. At this moment, in Lan Fei's mind, the voice of intelligence came again. The culinary heritage of the little master chef. Lan Fei was taken aback. That's right, culinary inheritance. The second exam happened to be the cooking theme formulated by Food Hunter. Although this reward is not to enhance one's own strength, it is just right at this time and can be used. Moreover, with the culinary heritage of the master chef, he can also be a gourmet hunter by himself. Host, do you accept the inheritance? Asked the system. Accept. Lan Fei nodded. Boom. In an instant, Lan Fei covered his head, a tingling pain came from his mind, and an unprecedented memory of culinary inheritance flooded into his mind like a flood. Lan Fei, what's wrong with you? Gon at the side noticed something was wrong and quickly reminded. I'm fine. Lan Fei gritted his teeth. Ding. The culinary skills of the little master chef have been passed down. Congratulations to the host, now you can be considered a super chef. The system reminded. Tisk tisk. Worthy of being a super chef. Now that I have integrated the inheritance and memory, all the cooking skills have been mastered. This round of gourmet cooking should be easy to pass. Lan Fei smacked his lips, his face regained his composure. In Lan Fei's perception, this gourmet dish could not pass until the last one. In the end, Tero, the chairman of the review committee, came forward, and Menchi gave all candidates a second chance. Of course, the reason why everyone was eliminated is also related to Menchi, the examiner, because the food hunter is not favored by the examinees, so Menchi's assessment standards are a bit unfair, and he brought his own temper, so everyone did it. The dishes that came out were not as good as she wanted. However, now that Lan Fei has received the culinary heritage of a super chef, he naturally has a way to cook delicious dishes. If I am the only one who passes the exam, I don't know what other people will think. Lan Fei thought to himself, he can't help Gon in this round of exams, he can only rely on himself. Everyone. Suddenly, the fat Buhachi shouted loudly, the second hunter exam starts now. Whoosh whoosh. As soon as Buhachi's words fell, all the candidates rushed towards the deep forest of Biscayne. Everyone was racing against time, trying to catch the prey as soon as possible and finish their cooking as soon as possible. After all, no one knows how much the two examiners can eat. If they are one step late, they will be eliminated. Cooking with pigs as an ingredient is much easier than the first exam. Seeing people scattered in every corner of the Biscayne deep forest looking for ingredients, Lirio carried a briefcase and spread it unhurriedly. It's really good, I don't know anything about cooking. Xia took a long breath. I'm not good at cooking. Even if I find the ingredients, I may not be able to make the taste that the examiner will be satisfied with. Gon also shook his head and sighed. You guys, come with me. Lan Fei turned around and walked towards a steep slope, and jumped down. Xia, Kurapika, Lirio, follow up quickly. Gon nodded and jumped down the steep slope as well. It's here. Looking at the huge figures at the bottom of the steep slope, Lan Fei couldn't help grinning. This is. At this time, Gon's exclamation came from behind. What the hell? What a big pig, eating bones. Lirio widened his eyes, seeing such a huge wild boar for the first time. Could it be that they are carnivorous animals? Kurapika was also surprised. The wild boar in front of him was really too big. It looked like a rhinoceros, and its long fangs were even more fierce. What kind of pig is this? Xia is full of curiosity. This is the wild boar, the wildest pig breed in the world. Gon, Xia, Kurapika, Lirio, come on before they notice. Lan Fei reminded, and rushed towards the group of big-nosed wild pigs first. Isn't this too impulsive? These guys are so big. Gon gritted his teeth, leapt, holding a long fishing rod, and smashed down on a big-nosed mad pig. No matter how much, at least you have to be ahead of others to have a chance. Xia also rushed towards one of the big-nosed wild pigs. Lirio, let's go. In an instant, Kurapika and Lirio also shot. Roar. In an instant, there were one after another shrill roars in the Biscayne deep forest. Immediately afterwards, a lot of trees were pushed horizontally, and the wild pigs with big noses went mad and rushed out in all directions. But fortunately, the 5 Lan Fei took the lead, and killed the 5 porcupine wild pigs very easily. After all, it is still very easy for Lan Fei and the 5 of them to join forces to kill 5 blizzards, especially Lan Fei, who has long known the weakness of blizzards, kicking them down at the speed of light, and blizzards will belch immediately fart. Everyone run away. In the distance, the examinees who were looking for ingredients were also being chased by the mad boar-nosed pigs at the moment, trying to find a way to deal with it. Lan Fei, as expected of you, you actually know the weakness of the boar with a big nose. Down the steep slope, Gon carried a bulky wild boar with a porcupine nose, striding like flying, and rushed towards the exam gate. Gon, wait for me. HxH, who was born in the killer family, also carried the wild boar he killed, and chased after Gon. I'll take a step first. Lan Fei's figure flickered, turned into a golden light, and swept towards the exam gate. Lirio, this is an exam against the clock. Hurry up. Kurapika urged, carrying the porcupine pig that he had killed, and chased after Gon HxH. Kurapika, wait for me. Lirio gritted his teeth, picked up the terribly dead porcupine, and chased Kurapika, complaining, this beast is so heavy. Aren't they too fast? Quick, quick, find out the weaknesses of these beasts as soon as possible, and don't let us fall behind. Ha ha ha, I know their weaknesses. Seeing that Lan Fei and the others caught the prey ingredients so quickly, the other candidates were also anxious. Even if they were afraid of death, they all bit the bullet and rushed towards the big-nosed mad pig at this moment. Chapter 25 The Harsh Gourmet Cuisine, all eliminated. Open black lens bracket. Seek evaluation of flowers. Close black lens bracket. Menchi, look, they're back. Finally there is meat to eat. Standing at the top of the steps, HxH immediately spotted Lan Fei and the others running back with the big-nosed wild pig. The fastest is Lan Fei. It's time to show off my cooking skills. Fortunately, I just got the inheritance of culinary skills from the super chef of the Little Master. Lan Fei found the nearest stove and threw the huge porcupine on the ground. Lan Fei, I'd better roast such a big pig. Gon drove the hog-nosed pig directly onto the grill. Yes, this cooking method is the fastest, and the most important thing is to control the heat well, and the taste is also excellent. HxH nodded, and also drove the wild boar he killed onto the grill. The test questions use pigs as ingredients, and it doesn't say that a whole pig is needed. The roasted whole pig is indeed the fastest, but the taste of such a big pig may not be much better. Kurapika reminded, I can't control that much anymore. I want both taste and good-looking appearance. Unless you are a chef, how can we candidates know such cooking skills? Lirio also imitated Gon, and drove it to the grill on the back of the bull-nosed pig. Boom. In an instant, flames began to rise on the hearth of Gon, HxH, and Lirio. Actually, Kurapika reminded you right. And Lan Fei, who knew that all the candidates would be eliminated in the end, also knew that roasting a whole pig is fast, but if the heat is not controlled, the taste will not be good. He has already reminded Gon, but there is nothing he can do. Because everyone cooks under the eyes of the 2 examiners, even if Lan Fei is good at cooking, he will not be able to teach Gon for a while, nor can he help Gon, otherwise, he will be eliminated directly. This is a test of one's cooking skills and one's cooking ability. Lan Fei really can't help. The ingredients are quite complete. Then make a whole pig feast. Lan Fei glanced at the ingredients placed on the stove, and made a secret decision in his heart. With his current super cooking skills, he can completely cook every part of this porcupine wild pig in the fastest time. Wow. After making up his mind, he saw the biggest one on the stove soaring up into the air with a knife, and finally landed in Lan Fei's hands. In Lan Fei's memory, Ren of the Chinese Xiaodang's family used the 7-star knife to cut a huge cow perfectly with a set of fierce cattle and green dragon cuts in the dark culinary world. Now, with such a big porcupine mad pig, Lan Fei also wanted to cut off the whole pig with perfect knife skills. Just when the 5 of Lan Fei started to make gourmet dishes, the other candidates also brought back the wild boar they had killed. These 5 people, are they too fast? No, I have to speed up. Yeah, such a big-nosed wild pig will be troublesome when the examiner can't eat it. Seeing Gon and the others roasting a whole pig, the aroma wafted out, and the candidates who were one step behind were in a hurry at the moment. Okay. Suddenly, the female examiner Menchi, who was standing on the steps with her hands folded around her chest, could not help but brighten her beautiful eyes, attracted by Lan Fei's knife skills. The 5 Lan Fei were the fastest in this culinary test, so they naturally attracted Menchi's attention. No, when Menchi's eyes fell on Lan Fei's stove, his expression was shocked. This knife is not only gorgeous, but also just right. The whole pig is perfectly divided like this. Menchi stared at Lan Fei with a face full of shock. Even as a gourmet hunter, it would be difficult for her to do this step. Amazing knife skills. Menchi, this little guy is not simple. Following Menchi's gaze, HxH also noticed Lan Fei, and his heart couldn't help but shake. Yeah, perfect knife work, cutting like the golden ratio. Even if it is me, I am afraid it will be difficult to achieve this step. This kid, it's a pity not to be a gourmet hunter in the future. I'm really looking forward to his cooking. Menchi nodded. Lan Fei, my roast whole pig is ready. Just when Lan Fei was about to show off his skills, Gon directly moved the roasted whole pig on the grill in front of the 2 examiners. Hey, glancing at Gon's finished cooking, Lan Fei couldn't help but sighed. He knew that such a roasted whole pig would never pass the test from the female examiner Menchi. It's too hot. Although the skin is crispy, some of it has been burnt. Unqualified. Menchi sent Gon out straight away. Ah, this. Gon scratched his head and muttered softly. It's over, this female examiner is so strict, I was the first to be eliminated. Although it's burnt a little, it can't be wasted. Behind Menchi, Buhachi jumped directly at Gon's roasted whole pig and began to eat it. After all, this guy is already starving. This brat was eliminated. Isn't it too strict? I feel that this brat's roasted whole pig is full of color and fragrance. Seeing that Gon was the first to be eliminated, many candidates murmured. I'm done too. At this time, HxH also moved his roasted whole pig in front of the two examiners. The heat is too low, the skin is not crisp at all. Unqualified. Menchi glanced at HxH's roasted whole pig, and said calmly. Really? HxH shook her head helplessly. Soon, Lirio also brought in his own roasted whole pig, but the end was the same as Gon and HxH. Unqualified. The whole pig is not cooked yet. Menchi rubbed his forehead, feeling slightly disappointed. I'm done too. Seeing that Lirio was also eliminated, Kurapika moved his cooking in front of Menchi. Oh, giant burger. It looks good, but I thought of making it into the shape of a hamburger. Menchi's beautiful eyes lit up. She was satisfied with the appearance of Kurapika's cooking. She raised her hand, gently tore off a piece and put it in her mouth. Is there a show? Seeing the female examiner trying to eat her own food, Kurapika was a little apprehensive. After all, Gon, HxH, and Lirio didn't eat any roasted whole pig Menchi. Pooh, what the hell is this? It's too unpalatable. Unqualified. Menchi gave Kurapika a hard look. Kurapika was a little embarrassed, and could only shake his head helplessly. Sure enough, it still doesn't work. Half an hour later, the cooking of the other candidates was completed one after another, and they were sent to Menchi and Buhachi in turn. However, all of them were judged to be unqualified. Of all the candidates, now only Lan Fei is left. He was the first to come back, but the last to finish cooking. There is no way, it does take some time to make a whole pig feast. Hey, what the hell are you doing? We were eliminated like this. This is only the second exam, isn't it fair? Yes, it is too harsh and unfair to judge our cuisine as unqualified based on the high standard of your food hunter. I don't agree. That's right, I don't accept it either. Why are we all eliminated? Suddenly, many candidates began to complain about their dissatisfaction. I finished. At this moment, Lan Fei's voice interrupted the dissatisfaction of all the candidates. Wow. In an instant, all the candidates who were eliminated turned their attention to Lan Fei, and Gon and the others were no exception. They are all curious, everyone has been eliminated, and now only Lan Fei is left. He took the longest time, can he really pass the level of Menchi?